What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 4LS. Chapter 76. The Whitebeard Pirates. Everyone was still introducing themselves on the boat, but they didn't know that the top forces of the New World, the Four Emperors pirate group, were slowly approaching them. The captain found a huge pirate ship in front of us, approaching us. Fan Oka suddenly shouted from the observation deck. A whale pirate ship slowly approached. Moran saw it too, but he didn't expect that it was Whitebeard who came first, not Big Mom Kaido. Robin stopped the boat and watched what they were doing. Gu la 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 la. As soon as I got close, I heard Whitebeard's signature laugh, one of Hockey's horses, and the fish in the surrounding sea were scurrying like headless chickens. Search. A flaming fellow jumped from the whale boat. Moran's fist turned black in an instant, and he soared into the sky to meet the jumping Pyro, and punched him on the head. Bump. Boom. Pyro was thrown backwards by the hammer and hit the deck of the whale ship. Ace got up and sat on the deck, with a big bag popping out of his head, a dazed look. How did I come back? Pat. Moran also landed on the deck of the whale ship, looked at Ace's bewildered expression and teased, how does Ace feel? Does it feel familiar? UB*************D. You know a ghost, you beat me up when we first met, I want to fight 21 you one-on-one. Moran looked at him dangerously and asked, Ace, are you sure you want to fight me one-on-one? Hearing this, Ace was terrified when he remembered the day when he was beaten in Sabayati Archipelago, and he looked at Moran in shock for an instant. Ace, didn't you just say that you pulled out this Shichibukai's teeth all over the place? Everyone on the whale boat teased. Ace yelled angrily, you bastards. Stop talking, if you have the ability, go for it. Gu la 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 la. The Moran boy is bullying my son on my boat, I can't ignore it. Whitebeard looked at the little one in front of him with a dangerous face. Yes, Moran was just like a child in front of him. After speaking, he did not know where to take out his Kong Yunchi, came to Moran in 2 steps and chopped it down. Red light flashed in Moran's eyes, Chushui instantly appeared in his hands covering the double hockey, and he lifted up to greet him. Clang. In an instant, the situation changed, and the sky was affected by the collision of the momentum of the two people. The dark clouds rolled around the two of them, split into two, and split into two. The weak people around fell to the ground one after another. The moment the two collided, several figures rushed out of the Wanjian pirates, and instantly came to the deck of the whale ship, aggressively. The aura of several people, the pressured deck was covered with spider webs, and seeing that the ship was about to disintegrate, Whitebeard retracted his knife and retreated. Whitebeard, you are bullying the younger, you are still bullying me, a rookie who has only been at sea for a year or two. Gu la 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 la. Boy Moran, there are so many monsters on your ship. Whitebeard ignored him and complained, but looked at the few people who jumped into the boat and said meaningfully. Margao and the others also looked at the few people on board with serious expressions. Whitebeard, why are you here looking for me? You went to the wrong place to take your son. There is no way to get your son here. Moran was afraid that he would say, be my son, suddenly. So he vaccinated in advance. Gu la 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 la. I just heard Ace talk about you every day, and saw you defeated that fat woman, so I came here curious to see what kind of brat you are. Moran said speechlessly. Whitebeard, I found that you were quite curious. He was relieved to hear that he was not here to intercept him. If all four emperors came to intercept him, he would have no choice but to run away. What are you going to do with those people, Moran boy? I made a deal with Marine to take it down to Impel down, you're not going to give them a shot, are you? I never heard of Whitebeard having an affair with Big Mom. Moran thought to himself. Gu la 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 la. I'm not free enough to meddle in other people's business. Moran gave Whitebeard a deep look, relieved to know he wasn't joking. Will Ace come to my boat and be Whitebeard's son and let your father know? I think he'll crawl out of the coffin and beat you up. Moran joked when he saw him sitting on the railing with his head down. Stop rambling. You be ********************************** I only have one daddy, that's Whitebeard. In an instant Ace was revived with full blood and looked at him angrily. Moran looked around and didn't find Blackbeard. Marshal D. Deaky. It's a pity, even if he said it now, no one would believe it, and now the time is coming, and it won't be long before the Summit War will start. If it can't be stopped, then get your hands dirty at Summit War. If it's okay, we'll leave, we're in a hurry. Moran didn't wait for Whitebeard to speak and led them back to the boat. Robin set sail and let's go. It's the captain. Seeing Moran and others walking away, Margao suddenly said, Father, have you found out? Whitebeard said to Kaido with a solemn face. I found out, those who jumped on the boat are ridiculously strong, no wonder they can defeat that fat woman. Kaido and Big Mom are not necessarily their opponents. Whitebeard thought to himself. Gu la 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 la. Don't worry about Marco, just don't mind their business, he can't do anything to us. Lousy is Whitebeard. Whitebeard comforted him when he saw several captains on the ship with dignified faces. We trust Daddy, the captains thought to themselves. After a few hours, Wanjian pirates as slowly heading towards Marie Joya. Van Oka was on the watchtower, and when he saw a warship, he should have known that it was here to pick them up. The captain saw Marine's warship, it should be Aokiji and Kizaru who came to pick us up. Come closer. 563 inches. Moran also saw a huge warship not far away. Only Admiral is qualified to use this level of warship. Hey, your Marine sent you two here. Vice Admiral Garp and Akainu Admiral are on their way and haven't arrived yet. Aokiji heard this in Kaido. Aokiji is here, so should Bailey come too? Moran looked at Aokiji with a grin and asked. Aokiji scratched his head in embarrassment and said helplessly, I didn't take it. I was going to the battlefield between the two pirate groups. Who would bring so many Baileys? He was originally sent by Sengoku to see if he could win a four emperors, who knew they would call so fast, and he called to pick up the pirates on the way. Where is he going to get Bailey in the sea? When he heard that he didn't bring Bailey, Moran pulled his face down. Did you come to FKA Bird without Bailey? Bailey is in the back at Vice Admiral Garp. You be ********* D think I'm the one who gave you Bailey. Hearing Moran's words, Aokiji's face turned green with anger. Moran also said with a look of ignorance, isn't it? Every time you come to see me, don't you give me Bailey? Aokiji is also a little helpless, he really just sends Bailey every time he comes. Okay, if you didn't bring it, you didn't take it, bring people to your warship, and then set off. Moran knew that Big Mom would definitely come, so no one could put him on the boat, or the boat would be gone if there was a fight on his boat. Chapter 77. Four Emperors Kaido Ant arrives. A huge warship near the entrance of New World, and a pirate ship next to it, are sailing slowly, and the sky is sunny. Without warning, the sky suddenly gathered a dark cloud. Rolling dark clouds, lightning and thunder, slowly forming an Uzumaki. Come and prepare to fight. Moran knew that Kaido was coming when he saw the sudden change of sky. Everyone on the boat stood up when they heard Moran's words. Aokiji and Kizaru on the warship also noticed it, looking at the sky with serious expressions. Sure enough, Uzumaki was covered with dark clouds, a dragon head came out, and then the dragon body slowly came out of Uzumaki. Another small black dot appeared on the horizon, and it was not until we got close that we could see it clearly. It turned out to be a fat woman riding a cloud. Well, Alfad hyphenation point Moran's old lady came to settle accounts with you, you come out to my old lady. Fat woman, I don't remember owed you any money. Did you find the wrong person? At this time, not far away from the sea, pirate ships slowly drilled out of the fog, and all the beasts pirates under Kaido came. Whoever said that Kaido had no S***X with Big Mom, Moran was the first to not believe it. Well, smart tongue B******** D kid, you can go to hell with me. Fire in the sky, hot interest. Moran looked at a large number of flames falling from the sky and turned his head. Madara. I'll leave it to you, is it okay? No problem, Lord Moran. I didn't expect these two guys to attack their ship and ignore Marine, so let's play with them. Moran raised his hand and patted forward, because Mom's flame was directly patted and went back the same way. Boom. The ant ran away in a hurry, and the flames fell into the sea. Uchiha Madara took out the flaming fan, soared into the sky and rushed towards Kaido. The round fan blocked Kaido's Huaju's only way. There was no collision as expected, but Huaju was strangely absorbed by the round fan. Uchiha rebounded. Boom. Huaju went back the same way, and rushed towards Kaido, whose body was too big to hide. He took all of Huaju's attacks but failed to break the defense. Seeing that Uchiha Madara was fighting with Kaido, Moran turned his head and asked, this fat woman, does anyone want to fight? Lord Moran, let me hit her. Acedus was the first to jump out with excitement and said. You can't go today. If you fight, you will freeze the sea. We are on our way. Today's battle is not for you. Okay. Acedus walked back dejectedly. Tornado, your abilities are suitable for sea battles, so go ahead. Moran looked at the tornado and said. In fact, he can go by himself, but he is not allowed to command the ship. HMPH, you know how to trouble me, you will do it yourself. After the tornado finished speaking, green energy emerged from his body and floated up, soaring up into the sky, he slapped his face in front of the ant. Bump. The invisible attack directly sent Big Mom flying backwards. Although immune to death didn't break the ant's defense, but this superpower can be used 50-50 with anyone. When the ant stood firm, her face turned green when she saw the tornado. She was stopped by this little girl when she was chasing the attack last time. She didn't have the knowledgeable look of her son, so she could only fight hard, and was beaten back and forth again and again. Bump. The ant was still thinking about something, the tornado slapped it again, and the ant flew upside down for dozens of meters. Fire style extinguish fire. Uchiha Madara turned on Rinnegan floated in the air, opened his mouth and spit out a huge flame, and the flame rushed towards Kaido quickly. Hot interest. Not to be outdone, Kaido opened his mouth and sprayed out a stream of fire. Boom. The two fires collided together, dyeing the whole sky red, and everyone could only feel the fiery air waves rushing towards their faces. Fire style Longyan singing technique. Uchiha Madara spits out 4 fire dragons and attacks Kaido from 4 directions simultaneously. Boom, 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 boom. However, Kaido, who resisted the 4 fire dragon attacks, was unscathed. Boy, are you tickling me with this kind of attack? Do you want to dance too? Uchiha Madara looked at such a big Kaido, it seems that ordinary attacks are ineffective against him. Uchiha Madara thought to himself. His eyes began to change, from circle eyes to eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and he fell on the sea and stood firmly on the sea. Since you want to court death, then I will let you see my full strength WW. Full Susanoo. Blue chakra emerged from Uchiha Madara, and the whole sea began to tremble, and blue skeletons began to emerge around Uchiha Madara, forming a human form. Chakra surrounded the huge skeleton, and slowly the skeleton turned into a flesh and blood body, blue-color Titan Ren. There was only the sound of swallowing saliva on the marine warship, and they all stared at the Titan dumbfounded. It's scary. Looking at such a big Titan, Kizaru no longer had a wretched face, but instead said solemnly, Hey, where did Alphad Moran find that monster? There is no simple character on this guy's boat. Aokiji also said with a serious face. Now you're trying to see if I'm tickling you. After Uchiha Madara finished speaking, he pulled out the chakra knife and slashed over. A slash of tens of meters flew towards Kaido. Kaido looked at the swiftly flying slash. He was too big to dodge, so he could only head on. Hot interest. Kaido spat out a fire stick, trying to block the chop, but the chop split the fire stick, and the chop hit Kaido unabated. Crash. Roar. Kaido's body was cut with a huge wound. He yelled in pain. Blood rained from the sky. UB**************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** sky until Kaido raised his chakra knife and slashed down. Knowing how powerful Uchiha Madara is, Kaido dare not procrastinate. The dragon claws-covered armament Hawkeye grabbed the falling chakra knife, opened his mouth wide to gather flames and wanted to breathe fire at close range. How could Uchiha Madara make him spit on himself? Boom. He directly punched Kaido's head with a fist, and the flame exploded in Kaido's mouth, instantly producing smoke from all 7 orifices. Kaido swung the tail of a dragon, and the dragon tail swept Uchiha Madara. Seeing the sweeping tail, put away the chakra knife. Bump. Uchiha Madara grabbed the tail with both hands, fell into the sea and the seawater only covered his thighs, and started to spin around in circles, throwing Kaido dizzily. When Uchiha Madara threw Kaido straight, he saw someone coming from not far away pirate ship, directly use Kaido as a whip to several pirate ships. On the pirate ship that was rushing over, they panicked when they saw Kaido smashing over, and ran around on the ship. Not good. Run away. Master Jin. Boss Kaido is coming. What should we do? The ship that Kaido smashed over happened to be the ship where Fire Calamity Jin was on. At this time, Fire Calamity Jin also had an ugly face, attacking either not attacking or not being in a dilemma, and finally he gave up on the pirate ship and transformed into the pterosaur form flew out. Not good. Lord Jin ran away. Let's run too. Plop plop plop. The pirates on the pirate ship jumped into the sea one after another, and only a few seconds later, Kaido also hit him. Boom, boom, boom. The beast's pirates that were rushing over were already half dead before reaching the battlefield. Pata. Fire Calamity Jin landed on another pirate ship and immediately said, Jack, turn the ship around and stay away from Kaido's battlefield, or none of these ships will be spared. When Jack on the boat heard this, he also knew that he should not commit a crime at this time. He turned his head and said, turn around and stay away from Boss Kaido immediately. Crack, crack, crack. Kaido was played like a whip by Uchiha Madara, whipping the sea surface in the direction of the pirate ship. UB***************. D. Let me go if you have the ability. Crack, crack, crack. After a while, Uchiha Madara felt a little bored. Boom. Throwing Kaido out directly, Kaido flew tens of meters away and landed in the sea, causing a big splash. Uchiha Madara spread her wings behind her back and quickly chased after her. Kaido, the capable person, rushed out of the sea outrageously, and saw Uchiha Madara catching up. Hot interest. A huge flame rushed towards Uchiha Madara, dyeing the entire sky fiery red. Uchiha Madara directly split Huiju in half with a single knife, continued to rush towards Kaido unabated, and quickly slashed down on Kaido's head with a knife. Kaido saw the falling chakra knife, the dragon claws covered Hawkeye, went up and grabbed the chakra knife. Clang, click, click. The two were deadlocked in the air. Kaido opened his mouth to breathe flames again. Boom. Discovered by Uchiha Madara, he punched Kaido on the head again. The flame exploded directly in Kaido's mouth. Kaido was hammered and fell into the sea. Uchiha Madara swooped down, chased down, and stomped down. Bump. Circles of waves spread in all directions, and the surrounding pirate ships and warships were washed away by the waves. Uchiha Madara looked at Kaido under his feet, and stomped hard one foot after another. Brother Jin, Boss Kaido seems to be unable to defeat that titan, shall we help? Jack asked Jin, who was on the side. Look how many people Wanjian pirates have shot, do you think we will help? Jin said with a speechless face. I didn't expect Wanjian pirates to be so strong. The woman who fought with the ant a few days ago didn't make a move. The Kaido boss and the ant were both stopped. It's a bit difficult to beat them to save people today. Jin thought to himself. Road. Brother Jin, are we going to attack Wanjian pirates? Jack, who is not afraid of death, asked again. Wait a minute, Boss Kaido hasn't issued an order yet. I still don't know what Boss Kaido thinks, just wait. On Moran's side, he ran to the marine warship at some point, walked up to Aokiji and said with a smile, Aokiji, I want to arrest Kaido's men, what do you think? 11. I don't think so, please don't hurt me. Aokiji said with a dark face, seeing Moran smiling and trying to arrest him. Capture all the subordinates of the 2 4 emperors, I think you want the 4 emperors to tear down the marine. Aokiji thought speechlessly. Cut. You marines are just bullying and fearing the strong. You see, I am not afraid of anyone, and I will do anything if I don't agree with it. Aokiji turned his back on the Versailles guy. Bulu boo, Boo boo, then Aokiji's phone bug rang. Moshi Moshi, I'm Aokiji. Mr. Garp, what's the matter with you calling? Crack, crack, the sound of eating donuts came first. Aokiji, what's going on with you? Sengoku said you were fighting with the 4 emperors, right? Ah la la, I met Aunt Kaido, but they were all stopped by people from Wanjian pirates, and we are still fighting and have not yet decided the winner. Can they resist the attack of 2 4 emperors pirates at the same time? Although I can't believe it, but this scene is indeed happening, I can't help but believe it. Didn't you expect them to be so strong? Last time they played against them, their strength was about the same as that of Aokiji. Garp thought to himself. On Uchiha Madara's side, he broke away from Kaido under his feet, and quickly turned into a half-dragon half-human form, holding a mace and rushing towards Uchiha Madara's mace, smashing Uchiha Madara's head hard. Uchiha Madara drew out the chakra knife and went up to meet him. Quote quote exclamation mark quote. In an instant, the wind and cloud changed color, the sky was dark and cloudy, and the lightning flashed and thundered. Circles of air waves spread in all directions. Bing 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 bing. Jingle. They collided again and separated again, and each collision brought air waves and lightning flying around. Bump. Boom. Another collision. Kaido was sent flying upside down, smashed into the sea, setting off a large sea area. Tengai Shinsei. Uchiha Madara clasped his hands together in the air, and a huge meteorite fell through the clouds and hit Kaido. Kaido was a little dumbfounded looking at the huge meteorite that fell down. After regaining his senses, Kaido waved his mace and sword into the sky to meet the huge meteorite. Thunder 8 trigrams. Click, click, boom. Kaido, the 4 emperors, really didn't call it casually. He cracked the meteorite, and the meteorite fell into the sea in pieces. Plop, plop, plop. Before Kaido had time to breathe a sigh of relief, another huge meteorite fell right after him. Kaido watched another meteorite fall down, and cold sweat flowed down his face. There's no end to Mater. Kaido, cursing in his heart, soared into the sky again, facing the huge meteorite. Thunder 8 trigrams. Click, click, boom. Kaido once again cracked the meteorite into pieces and flew around in pieces. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, Uchiha Madara had come behind him and held the chakra knife high. Wonderful. Crash, roar. A long wound was cut on Kaido's chest, blood began to rain from the sky, and Kaido was also chopped down to the sea. Boom. Kaido hit the sea and set off a large wave, which rushed in all directions in circles. Uchiha Madara will not let go, any chance to attack. Quickly chased down, stomped down hard. Okay, he stepped on Kaido, who was about to rush up, into the sea again, another burst of stomping, one kick after another. Moran felt a little pitiful for Kaido not far away, the majestic 4 emperors who ruled the new world were stepped on several times. Hey, Aokiji is a bit too aggressive, Kizaru said dumbfounded. Aokiji turned around and looked at a group of marine soldiers on the warship who were trembling and sitting on the ground. They were too overwhelmed to stand up and said with emotion, it's really a bit too violent. I didn't expect Alphad Moran's ship to have such a thing. Strong. The ant who was in the long-distance confrontation with Tornado saw Kaido being pressed and beaten all the time, and yelled angrily, Kaido, you be ********D, didn't you eat today? You were beaten like a dog one-on-one. Kaido, who was being trampled under his feet, was already full of anger, and immediately became unhappy when he heard what Big Mom said. Linlin, you fat woman, shut up for Lousy, or Lousy will kill you too. Brother Jin, are we really not going to help Boss Kaido? Jack couldn't hold back on the pirate ship and asked again. Jin also knew there was no way to go on like this, and he was silent for a while and said, bring the boat over, I'll find a way to destroy their boat, don't confront them head on. Using his flying ability to destroy the ship of Wanjian pirates, he should be able to help Kaido boss Jin in a disguised form. Jin's plan is good, but they lack the intelligence of Moran, the pirate group, so he is doomed to fail this time. When Moran saw the pirate ship approaching not far away, he was immediately happy. I haven't gone to find you, but you sent it up by yourself. If you don't catch Moran, you will feel sorry for God's arrangement, Chen. Turning his head, he said, Robin sees those pirate ships, move the boats over there. It's the captain. The distance between the 2 pirate ships was getting closer and closer. When the distance reached 100 meters, Jin turned into a pterosaur shape, spread his wings and soared into the sky, and quickly approached Moran's ship. Green energy also began to emerge from Moran's body, he floated up and flew out, and quickly met the flying pterosaur. Chapter 78. The battle ends. Big Mom Kaido escapes. Dan Gong Emperor. Jin used his pterosaur body to dive forward at an extremely fast speed, approaching Moran's pirate ship, and spread his wings to sink the pirate ship. Moran was covered with green energy, and Chushui appeared in his hands to cover Hawkeye, soaring into the sky to meet the rushing Jin, and slashing fiercely at the wings from bottom to top. Clang, click, click. The two were deadlocked in the air, and the air waves generated by the collision spread in all directions. Moran's feet turned black instantly, and Jin kicked him up. Bump. Instantly kicked Jin upside down and flew tens of meters in the air before shedding his strength and stabilizing his figure. Jin looked at Moran floating in the air with an ugly expression on his face. He didn't expect there to be a flying ability user. It is obviously impossible to destroy their ship now. Thinking of this, he didn't want to fight. He turned around and wanted to go to himself. Fly on board. Moran immediately became upset when he saw Jin, who ran away with one hit. How could Moran suffer such a disadvantage, and chased after him directly? Like a meteor, Moran rushed towards Jin, so fast that he could only see a green energy light cluster. One knife flow, meteor shower. A series of slashes flew towards Jin like a violent storm. Jin could only turn around helplessly, covering Hawkeye with his wings. Jingle. All the slashes landed on his wings, but to no avail, and at this moment Moran caught up with Jin. Looking at Jin, who was less than 10 meters away, he asked, "You hit and run, don't you take me seriously?" Alphad Moran didn't expect you to be an ability user. Jin sighed as he looked at Moran floating in the air. Yo yo yo, what do you mean by this? You don't even know us, so you came here to beat us. It seems that the Beast's pirates are really a bunch of reckless people. Moran thought to himself. In fact, Big Mom deliberately concealed the information. Big Mom asked Kaido for help, but said that the enemy was a Shichibukai, and there was a woman who was as strong as her, and she didn't say anything else. Mom is so happy, otherwise the bargaining chip may have to be increased. Jin also had an ugly face. At this time, he also knew that they were cheated by the ant, but the arrow was on the line, and he had to find out that now he had to bite the bullet. Jin turned back into a human form and drew out his knife, saying, "It's useless to talk, fight if you want." After speaking, he flapped his wings and rushed towards Moran. Moran didn't show any fear, and rushed over with green energy all over his body, and the two collided instantly. Clang. The aura generated by the collision spread in all directions. 21. Jingle. Bump. Bump. The speed of the two people was so fast that they could only see that in the sky, two stars collided with each other like meteors, then separated quickly, and collided together again. For a while, no one could do anything to the other. Jin saw that Jack was leading the pirate ship, getting closer and closer to the enemy's ship, so he could only worry secretly. He knows there is a woman on the ship who can fight Big Mom, but he hasn't made a move yet. Moran saw that Jin was distracted to observe the direction of the pirate ship, and he would not be polite if any flaws were revealed. A meteor flash. Crash. Moran passed through Jin like a bolt of lightning, and quickly appeared behind him. Only then did Jin react. Seeing a long wound on his chest bleeding profusely, he quickly came to his senses and knew that now was not the time to worry about Jack and the others. Moran rushed over quickly again, and in an instant came behind Jin and slashed down fiercely. Jin is also a person who has been licking blood from the edge of the knife for many years, so he quickly turned around and wiped the knife upward fiercely, meeting the knife that fell down. Clang. Jingle. The two collided again in the air, and neither could do anything to the other. Jin's wound was no longer bleeding and starting to heal, and Moran saw his wound slowly healing. The recovery speed of zone ability users is really pervert. Moran said with emotion in his heart. Bump. The moment Moran collided with Jin with the knife in his right hand, he slapped him with his left hand. Boom. Even though they were more than 10 meters away, Jin was slapped and flew upside down for dozens of meters to stabilize his figure. Looking at Moran in a daze, he asked, "Alphad Moran, is this your ability?" Moran grinning at Kaido. "Yes, how does it feel?" Jin looked at Moran with an ugly expression and said nothing, before he figured out his ability. If he rushed up rashly, he might be beaten away again. Moran watched Jin hiding far away, and was a little puzzled if he didn't confront him head-on. This guy doesn't talk about martial arts in this kind of game. The two were chasing each other in the air, and it became that no one could do anything to the other. Alphad Moran has become stronger again. Aokiji looked at Moran, who collided with Jin in the air, and said with emotion. "You mean, he wasn't this strong before?" Kizaru asked from the side. "No, when I first met him, he couldn't even beat me. Now it's hard to say who will win if we are in a fight. If he is not strong, how did he recruit so many strong people?" Kizaru asked with a puzzled look on his face. Aokiji was also silent. This is where he couldn't think of writing a sister. Obviously the strength is not strong, but a group of outrageously strong characters gathered around him. At this time, everyone on the Wanjian pirate ship looked at the slowly approaching pirate ship, and were discussing who would take the shot. Everyone was still discussing who to take the shot, but Uchiha Itachi jumped onto the watchtower and looked at the pirate ship rushing towards him. The distance was less than 50 meters. Everyone was still discussing and waiting for the discussion to come out. The enemies were all on board, but he knew how important this ship is to Moran. Staring at the pirate ship not far away, Sharingan turned around. Amaterasu. A black flame appeared out of thin air on Jack's pirate ship. The pirate ship was instantly ignited, and the black flames quickly spread to the entire ship, burning blazingly. "Master Jack, the ship is burning by itself," a little pirate said tremblingly. "Go away. Lousy is not blind yet." Jack didn't know what to do now. They only had one boat left, and the other boats were sunk by Kaido. If he jumped into the sea, he was a capable person, and it was no different from suicide if no one rescued him. At this time, Jin also saw that the pirate ship was being burned by fire, and quickly threw Moran away, rushed to the burning ship and pulled Jack back, flew away from the ship, and then turned to look in the direction of the ship. What? Ah. At this time, the pirate ship had been engulfed by the fire, and a group of people jumped into the sea one after another, and some who hadn't had time to jump into the sea made screams after being engulfed by the fire. The black flame had no intention of extinguishing when it touched the sea water, and continued to burn with the intention of not burning the boat down. Everyone on the Wanjian pirates ship looked at Uchiha Itachi with a dangerous look on their faces. They were still desperately recommending themselves to play. Uchiha Itachi burned all their opponents with a torch. Who are they going to fight? Uchiha Itachi said calmly and slowly. You are fighting, the enemy is here, if you let them destroy the ship, then Master Moran will blame you. Are you in debt? Everyone on the boat rolled their eyes and were dumb for an instant. Moran saw Jin running away with Jack, but he didn't chase after him. He heard what Uchiha Itachi said when he got back to the boat, and he didn't say anything. There is a mature Uchiha Itachi on the boat, which is so reassuring. Moran sighed inwardly. At this time, another pirate ship appeared not far away, and it was sailing towards the battlefield. Captain, what the hell do you think that is? A crew member stammered when he saw the giant mountain-like titan. That should be someone with zone ability. Shanks said a little uncertainly. Captain, have you ever seen such a big zone ability? Beckman asked helplessly and speechlessly. It's really not like zone, there is a person in that titan, I think it should be a paramesha ability user. At this time, Usopp, who was a sniper, saw a person in the blue titan and said. Captain, will we be trampled to death if we try to persuade a fight? At this time, the crew member who took care of the young man stammered again. Hey, you guys are too cowardly. It's just, you guys are too cowardly, you know we are from the Four Emperors, Red Hair Pirates, how embarrassing it would be for you to spread the word like this. Everyone looked at him and laughed. You bastards, I'm not afraid, I'm just a little worried. The crew member yelled red-faced. Be quiet, Beckman scolded as he looked at the mess on the boat. It's okay if it's normal, after all, it's Captain Shanks who is funny and takes the lead, but this time it's on the battlefield. While a group of people were talking, the boat was already within 10 meters of the Wanjian pirate ship, and Moran had already spotted them, but he didn't care. Shanks jumped on the bow, and said to the pirate ship not far away, Moran, give me face. I have already fought to this extent, I can stop it, if I continue to fight, I will only draw more people come in, I don't know how many people will die by then. Moran didn't answer him, but instead asked with a weird face, Shanks, can I ask you a question? What's the question? Shanks asked a little confused. Aren't you a face-saving person who ate the face fruit? Moran looked at him strangely and asked. Ha 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 ha. The people on the two pirate ships, one counted as the other, all bent over laughing, and burst into tears. The funny guy Shanks was still looking at the crowd blankly, not understanding what they were laughing at and asked, what are you laughing at? After laughing, Beckman regained his calm face and said, Captain, you want others to give you face when you meet everyone. I didn't think there was any problem before, but now he said that you have face like this. When Beckman said this, he saw that Shanks' face darkened, and he didn't continue talking. Shanks shot Moran a look, but he wasn't really angry. Shanks wondered. I'm a Four Emperors with you, so I don't have any face. Moran said speechlessly. You shouldn't ask me that, it's not me, but those two Four Emperors. Shanks look at this shameless guy, why did they hit you, don't you have any idea? This matter is easy to solve. If you let the Ant and Sun go, they will naturally not fight with you. Let me release the man I worked so hard to catch. Shanks, are you eating in Boney? Is there nothing to discuss? Shanks asked with an ugly face. Shanks, this is not a matter of negotiating or not, but that I have no intention of letting them go. Moran looked at him calmly and said. Shanks pulled out his western sword. Then there is no way, if you haven't had enough trouble, I will be your next opponent. Shanks, are you threatening me? If you think this kind of threat is useful to me, you can try it. After Moran finished speaking, red light flashed in his eyes, and the conquerors pressed over in a circle, and several people behind him also opened up their momentum, and all pressed towards the Shanks boat. Shanks also had red eyes flashing, and circles of conquerors fought against each other. The strong men on his ship were also full of momentum, but they couldn't stand up to so many strong men on Moran's ship. After a while, he was defeated and backed up again and again, stepping out potholes on the deck. Beckman said solemnly. Shanks, it seems that you want to stop them, I'm afraid it's not that simple. Shanks looked at the imposing people on the opposite side with an ugly expression. He didn't expect them to be so strong. If he continued to control them, he didn't know what the consequences would be. When the two sides were at war, a dog-headed warship slowly rushed over not far away, and was rushing towards it. Ha 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 ha, it's so lively here. There are 3-4 emperors here. Are you planning to join hands to attack the world government? Garp's loud and fearless voice came over. Only a marine like him dared to say such things. If you want to fight, let the horse come over. If you don't want to fight, don't block us. Shanks has been performing face-changing Sichuan opera over there, hesitating. Moran didn't have so much time to spend with him here, turned his head and said, Robin sails and we go. It's the captain. Shanks didn't stop them, but returned to his smiling face. Moran was speechless for a while. Women are not as good at changing faces as you are. After Moran's ship sailed for a certain distance in the direction of the warship, Beckman asked, isn't the captain going to stop them? Beckman, who can't be stopped, if we go to fight them, it will only expand the battlefield instead of stopping them, and we can't stop them with their strength, right? The imposing collision just now is still vivid in his memory, they have become much stronger again. Zhou felt in his heart. Beckman didn't say a word. In fact, even if you don't ask him, you know you won't be able to fight. If Wanjian pirates is still the same strength as when they met last time, they can stop it, but I didn't expect them to grow up so fast, and Shanks also thought the same way. Aokiji on the marine warship was also relieved to see that there was no fight. It would be a little troublesome if all 4 emperors were involved. Mr. Garp, you are finally here. Aokiji saw Garp and immediately turned into a little fan to meet him. How is Aokiji doing? Before Garp could speak, Akainu asked first. See for yourself, isn't there a fight over there? Kaido is getting hammered by Uchiha Madara. Seeing more and more enemies, Kaido also had the idea of retreating, but at this time he was stepped on by Uchiha Madara again, one foot after another, without any respect from the 4 emperors. Strictly speaking. Boom. Boom. UB ******** D, let me die. Roar. With a roar, Kaido entangled Uchiha Madara directly, trying to strangle the Titan Uchiha Madara. Click. Click. Cracks appeared on the Titan, but 630 was immediately recovered by chakra. After repeated several times, Kaido gave up. At this time, he had already left his feet and wanted to fly directly. Walk. Uchiha Madara saw Kaido, who had already flown more than 10 meters away, chased after Kaido without saying a word, grabbed the tail and started to spin. Snapped. Snapped. Kaido once again experienced the feeling of being a whip, sometimes whipping the sea, sometimes being spun around in the air by the wheel, and being thrown dizzily. Boom. Uchiha Madara got tired of playing with the whip for a while, so he threw Kaido out, flew tens of meters away and hit the sea, setting off a large sea, and the waves rushed in all directions. Hit. Waited for a while and didn't see Kaido appear. Uchiha Madara has a black question mark on his face. At this time, Kaido had already run thousands of meters away in the sea, and when he emerged from the sea, he soared into the sky and ran away without looking back. Kaido ********* D. Big Mom yelled and cursed when she saw Kaido running away alone. When Kaido heard the words of the ant behind him, he ignored them and continued to run desperately. At this time, 2 of his men were on his way to escape, and he ran here specifically to pick them up. Individual. Seeing Kaido flying farther and farther with Jack and Jin, the ant felt a sense of retreat. In her eyes, her son could live, but she could not die. Being hit by the tornado again, the ant took advantage of the opportunity to fly upside down, and rode Thundercloud Zeus and started to fly far away. Red Hair pirates, seeing that the 4 emperors ran away, they also began to sail slowly to the distance. It's not your style, Captain, to leave without saying hello. Beckman teased a puzzled Shanks. Ha ha ha, it's fine to say hello, there will be opportunities in the future. Shanks laughed to hide his embarrassment. He didn't expect that this war would end in such a dramatic way, but after thinking about it, Kaido has a good relationship with his aunt, but he won't give up his old background, and he can't escape. It is inevitable. Uchiha Madara and Tornado saw that the enemy ran away, and they returned to the boat one after another. Dragon Roll. Madara, I've worked so hard to treat you to a big meal tonight. Moran said happily when he saw the 2 came back. HMPH. I don't eat big meals, I want to lose weight. Long Wan said with a proud face and nostrils upturned. Dragon Roll is not me talking about you. If you lose weight, no one will want it. You will become skinny and skinny when you lose weight. Who will want you? Moran, go to hell you be ********* D. He rushed up and was about to bite his arm, and Moran's arm turned black instantly. Click. Tornado looked at him instantly with tears in his eyes. The tears swirled in his eyes and might fall down at any time. Moran had to remove Hawkeye, put his arm up and said, hey, just one bite. What? In an instant, there was a fake scream of a certain Lan. HMPH. Pretending to be like whether or not she has exerted herself, she knows it in her own mind. So he likes fatter ones. Long Wan thought to himself. What's so lively? At this moment, Garp also ran onto their boat and asked. Let's go. What's the matter with you? Moran looked speechlessly at Garp, who leaned his head over and said. Let's go if there is nothing to do. I don't know if the ant and the others will come to save people. Garp said to Moran. Let's go, then. Set sail, little ones. It's the captain. The plot is about to start, and the protagonist is going to the Grand Line. Chapter 79. Coming to the Sabayati Archipelago. At this time, Wanjian Pirates has arrived at the Red Line, but was told that the first half of the Grand Line can only pass through the Fishman Island, or fly over, because the Red Line divides the Grand Line into 2. There are only these 2 ways to make the boat go to the front half. Moran turned his head and looked at the Tornado. Tornado, you look at the boat, I'll leave it to you. You shameless B************ D, you make me do this every time even though you know how to do it yourself. Have you ever seen a tornado? Did the boss do it himself? Moran began to fool Dafa Dao. Long Wan said reluctantly. I haven't seen it before. Then it's okay. I'm the captain and I'm the boss, so you are the employee, who should do this. Everyone nearby rolled their eyes when they heard it. Tornado reluctantly dragged the boat and slowly floated up. Garp looked at the ship flying in the air and said, this guy Moran has a lot of talented people on board. Although they are few in number, they are no less powerful than our Marines. Aokiji also said with emotion. It didn't take long for them to cross the Red Line and reach the first half of the Grand Line, Marineford. The Marine soldiers near the port were talking a lot when they saw Garp returning with a pirate group. Is that Shichibukai Alphad 677 Moran who can stand alone against the 4 Emperor's pirates? Moran and Big Mom Kaido fought in New World. Although the newspapers haven't come out yet, it has spread inside Marine. It's really ridiculously strong. You can feel a sense of oppression from such a distance. Some soldiers were even directly frightened by Moran's unintentional display of aura and sat down on the ground. If you can't stand it, get out, don't embarrass me here. A Marine Vice Admiral in a cloak of justice snapped. A group of Marine soldiers dispersed in an instant and ran away one after another. Garp and Moran came to Marineford and walked directly to Marshal Sengoku's office. The others stayed on the boat and came to the door of the office. Boom. The door of the office was instantly kicked into pieces. Garp. Sengoku frowned instantly, jumped up and looked at the door with a menacing look. He thought it was Garp who kicked it because usually only Garp would kick his office door. Ha 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 ha. I didn't kick Sengoku this time, it was this guy. Garp pointed to Moran while speaking. Marshal mentally handicapped. I'm here to get Bailey, give me my Bailey. Moran said without waiting for him to change the subject. The total bounty is 4.5 billion, and you have to pay me 5 billion, and 5 devil fruits. It's a pity Big Mom pirates didn't catch all of them this time. There is no way that some of them didn't come, only these few have a higher bounty, so only a few were caught. Alphad Moran, UB ************ D, are you out of money's eyes? Sengoku is obviously still in a fit of rage to pick a bone. Hurry up and give me the money, I'm in a hurry. Come on. Marshal, what are your orders? Take someone to the bank and bring over 9.5 billion Baileys. It's the Marshal. Boxes of Baileys were brought in by the soldiers, and Moran waved them all into the rings. Turning to look at Sengoku, he asked, where's my devil fruit? Sengoku glanced at the soldier, and the soldier immediately understood and moved in 5 small boxes. When Moran saw the box, he knew what was in it. They all like to use this kind of box to hold devil fruit. They waved their hands again and several boxes were collected. When he got up, he never thought that Sengoku would lie to him because of some devil fruits. Get out of here quickly. Sengoku watched boxes of Baileys being taken away, his heart was bleeding. Marshal mentally handicapped, I hope that you are still alive when I come next time, bye bye. Alphad Moran, UB ********** D. After Moran finished speaking, he walked straight away, and Sengoku roared impotently inside. Da da da, you're back, Moran big brother. Blue Bonnie ran over when he saw Moran coming back. I'm back, did Bonnie miss me? CBDB. Think. Moran, who has a low voice, can't hear clearly unless he pays attention. Let's go to Sabayati Archipelago for a few days. Wanjian Pirates is sailing slowly on the way to Sabayati Archipelago, when a group of news birds are flying randomly in the air. Moran was lying on the recliner at this time and shouted, Bonnie go buy me a newspaper. Da da da. After a while, Lan Bonnie came over to him with a newspaper and a glass of drink, and Yuantong read the newspaper happily. Unsurprisingly Marine was as shameless as ever. Shichibukai Alphad Moran captured several important cadres of the 4 emperors Big Mom pirates in New World. During the escort process, the 4 emperors and teamed up with 4 emperors Kaido to attack the escort ship. Marine and Shichibukai Alphad Moran joined forces to fight together, and finally beat off the 2 4 emperors, safely escort the prisoner to Impel down. If Sengoku is here, Moran slaps the newspaper directly on his face, and joins hands with Marine, lousy grabs and delivers it all by himself, and you Marine just watch the fun. Has the captain seen Sabayati Archipelago, that we are going to land? Van Oka said standing on the lookout tower. Little ones prepare to land Sabayati Archipelago. It's the captain. Near tree no. 13. What can't be wrong is. Wanjian pirates, how did they appear here? You're stupid, you forgot it was published in the newspaper just now, they just escorted the pirates to Impel down and passed by, isn't it normal to land here? I heard that he likes to catch pirates, what shall we do? Not good. Run. If we are stared at by him, we won't be able to run even if we want to. If Moran heard this, he would probably be speechless. I'm not interested in you pirates with tens of millions. In an instant, the pirates around the number 13 tree scattered, only some non-pirate, courageous civilians were still watching curiously. Master Moran, why did they all run away when they saw us? Kai Tong asked after seeing a group of pirates running away. The captain is famous now, but not a good one. Robin interjected. Robin, what's my reputation? Moran also asked curiously. Captain, others know that you are a pirate, but you are doing marine business, so most pirates will run away when they see you. The bounty of ordinary pirates is so low, I don't like it either. Moran said a little puzzled. Captain, others don't know what you think, so they will run away no matter what you see. Moran could only helplessly accept this fact. The few people who were talking for a while had already arrived at the rip-off bar. Rayleigh, coming out to pick up guests soon. Moran yelled from afar. Chapter 80. Buy information from Shaki. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 68. 17. 23. Rip-off bar. Rayleigh and Shaki are reading the newspaper at this time. Rayleigh was still fooling around in the casino just now. Hearing the news of New World, he hurried over here to ask for detailed information, because the newspaper is too fake. Shaki saw Rayleigh watching so absorbedly and said, I didn't expect this guy to grow up so fast. When he came here, he wanted your help to improve his strength. Now they can fight against 2-4 emperors at the same time. Ah, New World is in chaos now. Before Roger and others show up, New World is already in chaos. I don't know if it's good or bad. Rayleigh sighed and said worriedly. The old guys have retired for a while, so why do you care so much? The things of the new era will naturally be solved by the people of the new era, and there is no need for you, an old guy who is half buried. Ha ha ha. That's right. Shanks should be able to control it in New World, and prevent New World from messing up. 320, in advance. Rayleigh thought that there was still a Shanks in New World, so he didn't worry so much. Anyway, it's not a big problem for four emperors to prevent New World from messing up. At this time, Rayleigh's eyes flashed red and said, I just mentioned this guy, but I didn't expect him to come. Alphad Moran is this little guy here. Hearing Rayleigh's words, a figure flashed in Shaki's mind. Rayleigh, coming out to pick up guests soon. It didn't take long for Moran's shouts to be heard outside. Where does this guy think I am? He even picks up customers. Rayleigh said unhappily. If you want to come in, get out of here. Moran walked in and saw Rayleigh sitting on a bar chair, reading a newspaper. He smiled and said, long time no see, Rayleigh, I miss you so much. Rayleigh was shocked when he heard Moran's words. This little guy misses me, maybe he wants to send me in too. Rayleigh watched Moran impassively. Moran was swept around by his strange eyes, and a terrible guess came to his mind that Rayleigh was still single at his age. Could it be? Rayleigh, what do you want? I tell you I'm a real man, I don't like men. As Moran spoke, he folded his hands on his chest and kept backing away, as if he was afraid that Rayleigh would suddenly rush towards him with a violent outburst. The veins on Rayleigh's forehead popped out at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his breathing gradually became heavier. Roll. Rayleigh looked at the guy and yelled angrily. Puff, puff, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Everyone laughed out loud at being teased, and the drink was sprayed everywhere. Shaki was also grinning from ear to ear. Rayleigh, the old guy, should be dealt with, otherwise he would never be able to understand. Shaki, who stopped smiling, looked at Moran and asked, Moran, you guys are here for the first half of the Grand Line, what's the matter? They came to the first half of the Grand Line, of course, not just to escort the pirates to Marine. Moran also had a purpose and was willing to take this task. There are some things that need to be dealt with, so I just passed by here and stopped by to buy a piece of information. Oh, what needs you to come from New World to deal with it yourself? It stands to reason that a powerhouse like Moran would rarely come to the Grand Line from New World to handle things in person, because most of the things here can be handled by a powerhouse around him. Shaki's curiosity was piqued. Don't worry about my affairs. Curiosity killed the cat, do you know? Do you have an intelligence position for the pirate, Trafalgar Law? Wait a minute, I'll get you the information. Shaki turned around and walked into the room behind him. It has been less than a year since Luffy went to sea, and there has been no ship doctor on his ship. He couldn't be summoned by 10 levels, so he came up with the idea of Trafalgar Law, the world's surgical ability. This guy should still be in North Blue now, and he needs to go to North Blue. When he comes back from North Blue, the plot will start. After a while Shaki came out with a piece of information. Hey, according to your information, this guy is a pirate from North Blue. How could he have anything to do with a guy like you? This guy has never been to North Blue. How would he know there is this pirate in North Blue? Shaki thought curiously. He has nothing to do with me. I still lack a ship doctor on board. This guy is a doctor and has something to do with medical skills, so I plan to invite him on board. Moran narrowed his eyes and glanced at her and asked, Shaki, your intelligence network is good. It even involves the whole world. I can't help but eat this bowl of rice after all. If I don't have any skills, I would have starved to death long ago, not to mention there is an old guy who is a prodigal. Shaki kept his eyes on Rayleigh as he spoke. Cold sweat trickled down Rayleigh's forehead. You also bought the information, can you go? Rayleigh saw a group of people in Moran covering their mouths and giggling, and said with a dangerous face. After finishing speaking, push Moran's group out. Bang! The door is shut. Moran looked at the rip-off bar with its doors closed and was speechless for a while. This old guy doesn't talk about martial arts, and even drives away guests when he is old. Let's go. A group of people followed one after another. How is Rayleigh feeling? Seeing Moran and others walking away, Shaki asked suddenly. Rayleigh said to Kaido with a serious face. Without the 3-4 emperors joining hands, no one in the New World can do anything to them. He didn't expect there to be so many strong men on Moran's boat. Judging from the leaked aura, there are at least 5 of them who can touch him, which is outrageous. Shaki asked in surprise, Rayleigh, are you kidding me? She is doing intelligence, of course she understands the importance of the 4 emperors, and the 3-4 emperors Marines have to stay away. Ah, no kidding, they do have this strength. Rayleigh drank a glass of wine and said in shock. Shaki seemed to understand something and said, forget it, anyway, it's not us who should have a headache, but those guys from New World. She's an intelligence worker, what kind of mind is she messing with? At this time, on the street of number 13 Tree, a group of people were in a mess, mostly young women, and they all looked back at the passing group of people step by step. I saw that the leader was fair-skinned, with a touch of handsomeness in his delicate features, and a touch of gentleness in his handsomeness. The aura exuding from him is so complicated, like a mixture of various auras, but amidst those tenderness and handsomeness, there is also his own unique ethereal and imagery. As this Shichibukai Alphad Mo 4.3 Lan. It's not as scary as they say, but it looks so handsome. A young woman in the crowd stared at Moran with red eyes and said. It happened that Moran heard it too, but instead of stopping, he walked faster and faster, and finally ran directly. When everyone returned to the boat, Moran felt relieved. I'm so scared to death. The young woman who weighs 200 jin is probably only interested in Boss Sao. Master Moran, why are you running? Chitong just ran to keep up with Moran. She looked back while running, but she didn't see the enemy asking with a puzzled face. Moran didn't answer. How could he answer this kind of question? Take a sip. Strategically avoiding the question, Chitong blushed and ran away instantly. Where are we going next, Captain? After everyone returned to the boat, Robin asked. Go North Blue. Chapter 81. Reaching the White Sea in the Sky. First half of Grand Line. On the sea level, the Wanjian pirates sailed slowly. Moran is lying on a deck chair, basking in the sun like a salted fish, and is in self-isolation. Why is he autistic? It turned out that he thought he was going to North Blue and needed to go back to the first half of the Grand Line, but when Robin heard that he was going to North Blue, he slapped a map on his face angrily. After reading it, he realized that it turned out that North Blue is right next to New World, and it can be reached by crossing the Com Belt. Going to the Grand Line and going to North Blue is equivalent to going around half the world, so he closed himself on the spot. Blue Bonnie saw Moran's gloomy look, and came over with a glass of juice to comfort him. Don't be unhappy, Moran big brother, this is the juice squeezed for you. It's better to be a good Bonnie, unlike some people who know how to PS me off. Moran looked at the side and said, meaningfully. Robin rolled her eyes wildly, she knew Moran was talking about her. Seeing that her captain is like a child who can't grow up, she is also very helpless. Robin asked helplessly, Captain, where are we going now? Our North Blue. Moran thought for a while and said, go to Sky Island first, there is what you want there. Is there any historical text there? Robin asked excitedly. You'll know when you arrive, keep it a secret now. Robin looked helplessly at this vengeful captain, why is he so narrow-minded? Blue Bonnie asked curiously, is Moran big brother Sky Island an island in the sky? That's right, it's an island floating at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Do you want to play? Think. Then let's go, aim for Gaia Island. It's the captain. The system comes out to draw a lottery. Host, you finally remembered the system. Its system is probably the system with the least sense of existence. Host, you have 5 devil fruits, do you want to draw all of them? Test the water first. Drawing # in progress. A circling disc that only Moran could see appeared in front of Moran, with various prizes from 10,000 worlds on it. Congratulations to Host for getting a weapon upgrade card. As the weapon upgrade card in the system used to upgrade weapons. Yes, Host, the weapon upgrade card can upgrade the weapon to a higher level. For example, the Chushui of the Host is originally a big fast knife. Use the Wu Jing upgrade card to upgrade to the Supreme Big Fast Knife. Quote. Chushui appeared in Moran's hand instantly. The system uses weapon upgrade cards. Using the weapon upgrade card may change the appearance of the weapon, is the Host sure to use it? It's okay to use it. Moran upgraded directly without even thinking about it, as long as the appearance can make the weapon upgrade not too ugly, he can accept it. The autumn water in Moran's hand was glowing red, and it was slowly growing longer at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then stopped after a while. The size remained the same but it was longer than before. Moran tried it and it just fit. He has also grown a lot in the past 2 years, and now he is about 2 meters tall. Near Gaia Island in 1 month. On the sea level, Wanjian Pirates is sailing slowly. Van Oka stood on the watchtower, and saw the shadow of the island in the distance. The captain found an island ahead, shall we land? Moran turned his head to look at Robin and asked, is Robin Gaia Island, or another island? According to the route, Gaia Island is ahead without accident. Then don't land on the island, go directly to Sky Island. After speaking, he turned his head and glanced at the tornado, the meaning was obvious. He had given them some knowledge about Sky Island on the way, for example, Sky Island is an island in the sky. Tornado pouted and glared at him ferociously, and as green energy burst out from his obedient body, the boat began to float up. Tornado, I'm not embarrassing you, you need to use your abilities more to improve your strength. You have to understand my hard work. Moran walked up to Tornado, put his arm on her shoulder, and said flickeringly. Long Wan looked at him suspiciously and said, really? Then why don't you use it? You can also use it more and improve your strength. Oh, no way, who made me care about you so much? Moran. The tornado was moved to tears, and the tears filled the eyes. When Robin heard these words, she rolled her eyes wildly. Before she met Moran, she traveled all over the world and met all kinds of people, so she knew that Moran was fooling the simple tornado again when she heard this. Moran glanced at Robin who was rolling his eyes, he was also very puzzled, this woman is too smart, and Moran has never succeeded in trying to fool her. Moran came to Robin's side with erratic eyes, and quickly attacked in her puzzled eyes. Snapped. I feel much more comfortable. Moran can only use this method to deal with her, and he can't fool her. He is embarrassed and has no choice. Isn't everyone as active as a seeds? Robin looks at this ruthless and courageous captain, she will take advantage of a little bit and look helpless, she doesn't pierce this layer of window paper, so it's pretty good. Is there really Sky Island on Moran big brother? Why can't I see anything? Not long after floating up, Blue Bonnie asked curiously. Bonnie Sky Island is at an altitude of 10,000 meters, and it takes 7,000 meters to reach the White Sea, so where is it? There are only clouds and no islands above the captain. Van Oka kept aiming with his sniper rifle, but he couldn't see the island and asked. The tornado passes directly through the cumulus cloud above and it is Uchiha. I see. After the tornado responded, the green energy on his body became more and more abundant, and the boat plunged directly into the cumulus cloud. It didn't take long to rush out of the giddy cloud, and the pirate ship floated directly on the sea of clouds. This world is really amazing. Moran looked around and said with emotion. Knowing is one thing, seeing it with his own eyes is another, and he was also shocked by the vast sea of clouds in front of him. Moran, big brother, is so uncomfortable, I feel so hard to breathe. Blue Bonnie Chians said with a bad face. Moran turned his head and looked around. Except for the ugly faces, the others were fine, but the weak ones were all sitting on the deck. It's okay, it's a little lack of oxygen in the air here, just get used to it. Wow, Moran, big brother, is Sky Island here? It's so beautiful. Lan Bonnie, who looked like he was dying just now, was revived instantly with full blood. Others also gradually adapted, and their complexions gradually improved. Attention everyone, these clouds are just like the sea, there are fish and sea kings in it. Understood the captain. Boom. As soon as Moran finished speaking, an octopus, sea kings, rushed out of the clouds, and its tentacles directly slapped Yuan on the boat. Slash with half a moon. Moran jumped onto the bow, and slashed out with a huge slash. Crash. Rumble. The octopus was cut in half instantly, smashed into the sea of clouds and disappeared quickly. Chapter 82. Bye-bye Sea God's Kingdom. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 107. 27. 36. The White Sea Wanjian pirates sails slowly. Except for a few sea kings, I didn't meet anyone. At this moment Van Oka suddenly said. The captain found a huge door ahead. When he heard the gate, Moran knew where it was, and said directly, come in, that should be the gate to heaven, Sky Island. Van Oka took his sniper rifle, looked around and observed, and said, beside the gate of the captain, there are 10 people with wings behind their backs. That should be the Amazon, Heaven's Gate supervisor. What a cunning old woman. Moran thought to himself. Just walk over there and ask how to get to Sky Island. Robin. Hi, may I ask? Before he finished speaking, Amazon said, I am the surveillance officer of the Gate of Heaven, Amazon. Are you here for sightseeing, or for war? Robin turned his head to look at Moran and asked, Captain, what are we here for? Moran didn't answer her, but looked at Amazon and said, stop talking so much, just tell us how to get to Sky Island, 663 or take us to Sky Island. Seeing that she was still thinking of a bunch of nonsense, Moran quickly added, we have no money, so just treat us as a legal trespass. Money is his taboo, don't even think about asking him about money, his strength is closely related to money, he can be as strong as he wants with money. Amazon had a face and said indifferently, then you 10 people, all of you want to go in. Without thinking, Moran said, yeah, everyone goes in. Boom. A huge lobster popped out from under the boat, dragged the boat and began to run up quickly. Itachi. Don't hold back, this lobster is taking us to Sky Island. Moran saw that Uchiha Itachi's Sharingan was spinning around, and immediately stopped him. Surveillance Officer of Heaven's Gate, Amazon. Success to Almighty God and all the priests. The kingdom of God has been invaded by 10 illegal invaders. Please give them the sanction of heaven. Please give them the sanction of heaven. What Moran didn't know was that the Amazons reported all their information to CBAH, the god of Sky Island. But even if he knew, he wouldn't care, after all, he didn't pay attention to these bird gods. Boom. The pirate ship rushed out of the sea of clouds and finally arrived at the Sky Island of Beibaihai. Blue Bonnie exclaimed, wow, it's so beautiful here. Surrounded by a vast expanse of white, like a dreamlike island, everyone on the boat was attracted by the beautiful scenery in front of them. Moran came back to his senses and ordered, Robin will dock the boat first, and it won't be too late for us to land on the island first and appreciate it. Understood the captain. Everyone who landed on the beach was quietly enjoying the rare beauty of Sky Island. Moran, big brother, can I play in the Sea of Clouds? Blue Bonnie looked at Moran expectantly and asked. You can go, but don't run too far, you know. I got it, thanks Moran, big brother. Chatong, a foodie, also ran down to play. In order to protect her job, she really stayed close to her. After speaking, he jumped off the Sea of Clouds and went swimming in a hurry. At this time, Robin came to Moran and asked, Captain, you said that there is something I need here, where is it? Golden Land, Shandora. Hearing the name, Robin exclaimed, isn't that a legend? Is it really a city made of gold? Oh, have you heard of this golden city? Moran didn't expect that Robin had heard of this city, he thought Robin was interested in history. Of course I've heard of it, and I've even read that the big liar Noland's book. This is not a legend, it is true, and that Norland is not a big liar. He did see the golden town of Shandora on Gaia Island, but when he brought the king to Gaia Island for the second time, the golden country has been washed up on Sky Island by the rising current, so he is a big liar because he can't find it. After listening to Moran's words, Robin said with a look of enlightenment, so that's the case, no wonder Norland can't find it. But how do you know this, Captain? As this, a secret. This can't be explained clearly, could it be that I have traveled through time? Even if I tell you, Robin won't believe it. Robin sighed in bewilderment. There are so many mysteries about the captain. If someone came to ask me in the early morning, maybe I would tell. Moran glanced at Robin and said slowly. Robin said calmly, then I will disturb the captain later. When Moran was about to say something, a group of people appeared not far away, bent over the ground and crawling forward, approaching them. It will be in front of everyone in Lan. The leading captain came out and asked, "It's you. You are the 10 illegal immigrants from Shanghai who were reported by the surveillance officer, right? You must accept God's punishment." Moran didn't answer him, turned his head and shouted, "Chatong, Bonnie, come up quickly, we have to go." "Got Moran, big brother, we'll go up there right away." Moran turned around and said to them, "I am, do you have any questions?" After speaking, the red light in his eyes flickered, and a circle of conquerors pressed over. Bang bang boom. A group of law enforcement teams fell to the ground one after another, unconscious. Only one figure who looked like the captain knelt on one foot and gritted his teeth for support. "What did you just say? I didn't hear you clearly." Moran walked over step by step, asking as he walked. The captain was dripping with cold sweat and exclaimed in his heart, "What a powerful momentum. You attack the law enforcement team, and you have committed a crime." Bump. Before the captain finished his conversation, Moran's foot turned black instantly, and he kicked his chin in the air. The captain was kicked upside down and fell into the sea of clouds. With such strength, he dares to beep. Now only people from this kind of feudal island dare to talk to him like that. "Wow, Moran, big brother, they all have wings." Blue Bonnie exclaimed in surprise again. Moran said helplessly, "Most of the people on Bonnie Sky Island have wings, so it's amazing." Moran turned around and ordered, "Let's get on the boat and go to the Golden City, don't judge these people." Chapter 83. Arriving at Akahito. Moran was about to leave to find Enel when he heard the sound of a piano. "Canis." Seeing a figure standing on a cloud not far away, playing the harp, Moran blurted out. Robin overheard and asked, "Captain, do you know her?" "He's a resident of Angel Island, tell Canis to go and have a look." Canis hugged the fox and looked at Moran and asked everyone, "Are you from the Blue Sea?" Robin took a step forward and said, "That's right. We flew up from the Blue Sea, are you a resident here?" "Yes, I am a resident here. Welcome to Angel Beach in the Kingdom of Gods. My name is Canis." Looking at the fox in his arms, he said, "He is Yunhu here, named Cece. If you have any questions about 723, I will try my best to help you." Moran looked at the familiar girl in front of him, and Barbara said a lot of words and asked helplessly, "Canis, hello. I'm Alfad Moran, I want to know which direction Akahito is, can you tell me?" Hearing Akahito, Canis's face changed drastically, and he lowered his head without saying a word. Seeing the change in her face, Robin asked, "Is there something wrong with this Canis place?" "There is a place in our kingdom of gods that we cannot set foot in no matter what. It is the island of the gods Akahito, where the gods live, also known as the sanctuary." Everyone turned their heads to look at Moran. They were all shocked by the title of god. After all, the gods they knew were all super powerful and almost omnipotent existences. Moran explained. "That's a Logia ability user, similar to those three in Marine, but much weaker than those three. God is the name of their leader here. Don't make a fuss, it's not the kind of god you think." Robin looked at Moran suspiciously and asked, "Captain, you must not be a 1,000-year-old monster. Otherwise, how do you know so much?" She couldn't figure out how this captain, who was younger than her, knew so many things. It seems that it is necessary to find him tonight. Blue Bonnie and Kai Tong believed it was true, and they circled around Moran to observe. After observing for a while, Lan Bonnie looked puzzled and said, "Sister Robin, Moran big brother has no horns, nor long teeth, not like a monster." Moran pulled her over speechlessly, put his hands on her face, and kneaded her face viciously. Moran squeezed Blue Bonnie's chubby face into various shapes and asked, "Are you still kidding me? Moran big brother, you let me go, I dare not. Canis, you just need to tell me which direction to go, and you don't have to worry about the rest." Moran looked at Canis and said, "Even if he told Canis that I am more than 10 times stronger than your so-called gods, I guess this little girl would not believe him." Canis still said worriedly, "You guys asked about that place, are you planning to go there?" Robin helped to speak. "Canis, you don't have to worry about our safety, they are all very strong." Seeing that he couldn't persuade him, Canis could only say, "The place you are looking for is not too far from here, if you sail straight ahead, you will see it in a short time." "Thank you, Canis." Moran turned around and said, "Let's go." "It's the captain." Canis looked at the pirate ship slowly going away, and she could only pray for them in her heart, hoping that they could all leave that island safely. At this moment, Enel sat on a chair with his feet crossed, his eyes closed, and 4 priests stood not far in front of him. He raised his hand suddenly. God's punishment. Crackling. Knowledge and knowledge covered the entire sky island. Enel's arm quickly turned into electricity, and a thunderbolt shot into the sky. Thousands of miles away, Wanjian pirates are still slowly sailing closer to Akahito. Suddenly, a red light flashed in the eyes of the fighting members on the ship. Moran turned his head quickly and shouted, "Madara." "I see." Chakra stabbed wildly from Uchiha Madara's body, enveloping the entire pirate ship in an instant, forming a protective shield. Clap. Suddenly without warning, a bolt of lightning struck down. Exclamation mark. A bolt of lightning strikes the chakra shield, and the chakra shield is fine. What happened? It was the first time that everyone saw the enemy and only saw the attack, and they all turned their heads to look at Moran. They also knew their captain now, as if there was nothing he didn't know. Thunder Fruit ability user, Enel, the god of thunder, is also the god that the people of Sky Island call. His color of knowledge is quite special. It can be used in combination with his abilities. It can cover the entire Sky Island. Wherever the color of knowledge is covered, he can attack at will. Moran glanced in the direction of Akahito and answered. Robin said with emotion. We are still so far away from him, and he can attack us. This is not much different from God. Moran looked at Robin speechlessly and explained. Robin's wide attack range doesn't necessarily mean it's powerful. Believe it or not, if Tornado wants to, she can make the entire Sky Island disappear in an instant. Robin was really stunned, turned his head and stared blankly at Tornado and asked, is what Tornado said true? Tornado was a little overwhelmed by the exaggeration, lowered his head shyly and said, I can indeed erase Sky Island, but it's not as exaggerated as what Xinglan said. Robin looked back and forth at the combat members with a masked face. It seems that she has always underestimated these combat members. Enel Nuanyuan opened her eyes and thought, it seems that she has some strength. But erasing Sky Island 1.6, this big talk is too much. Looking at the 4 priests in front of him, he said, those Qinghai people are approaching here, go and get rid of them. Yes. Enel narrowed his eyes and looked at the 4 priests who went out one after another, without saying a word. He didn't know what he was thinking. Van Oka suddenly said from the observation deck, the captain has seen the island, you come up to see if it is what you said, Akahito. Moran jumped on the observation deck, saw an island and a house with only half of it left, and thought, this should be the island and the house that was washed up 400 years ago. Half of it is in Gaia Island, and the other half is here. They bowed their heads and said, this is it. Robin pulls the boat over and we land Akahito. 1. Understood the captain. Chapter 84. Arriving at the Golden Country. The 4 god-tier officers were on the shore, watching the pirate ship slowly approaching. It should be them, right? People from Qinghai who entered the country illegally. One of the priests looked at the people on the boat with a photo and said. Gatas looked at a few people who were still watching and said directly, you guys take your time. I'll meet them first. This B*********** D wants to kill the prey alone, don't let him succeed or we won't have to play. After speaking, the remaining 3 priests also rushed out. Moran was already approaching Ujima, looking at the priests rushing up suddenly, he said speechlessly, are you in such a hurry to reincarnate? Moran quickened his pace, red eyes flashed, a circle of conquerors pressed past, and the 4 priests all stopped. The 4 of you look at me, I look at you, you are afraid to move, cold sweat is pouring down, watching Moran approaching step by step, as if every foot is on their hearts. An unspeakable sense of fear slowly crept into my heart. Moran looked at the priests who dared not move and said sarcastically, didn't you treat me as prey? I'm standing right here, do you dare to come and hunt? It is obvious that he also heard the conversation of several priests just now, they are not far away, and it is normal for him to hear it with his strength. Several priests stared at Moran without saying a word. Although they were trembling with fear and sweating, they didn't take a step back. Cut. Boring. Moran originally wanted to collect some information, but judging from their situation, he probably thought too much. Boom. A pit suddenly appeared on the spot, and Moran had already appeared behind one of the priests, his feet turned black instantly, and he stomped on it. Bump. When the other 3 priests reacted, Gatas was already lying in a 10-meter deep pit, motionless and lifeless. Gatas. The remaining 3 priests all looked horrified, looking at Moran standing in the deep pit, they were too fast and too strong to react. After a while Gatas opened his eyes again and cursed. Ahem, you be *********************. Hee hee. You're not unconscious yet. Bump. After Moran finished speaking, he stomped down again, and the pit sank a little further. Seeing that his feet were covered in blood, but he was still not unconscious and staring at him viciously, Moran was also a little annoyed. Bang, bang, bang. 1 foot after another stomped down fiercely, and the spider webs on the ground quickly spread in all directions. Blue Bonnie couldn't stand it anymore, turned around and said, Moran big brother is so fierce today. Bonnie speaks ill of people behind their backs, it's not a good habit. Moran suddenly tilted his head to look at her and said. Blue Bonnie said with erratic eyes, Moran big brother, I'm not saying bad things about you, I'm saying you're handsome and charming. Alas, the innocent and cute girl is gone forever. Moran was speechless, how could he hear it wrong so close? Boom. Seeing the bleeding from the 7 orifices under his feet, the lifeless priest kicked him out with a kick and fell into the sea of clouds. Chu Shui appeared in his hands out of thin air, and he found that it is more comfortable to cut with a knife, he can use a knife without his feet anymore, it's too leggy. Meteor flash. Like a bolt of lightning, Moran shuttled back and forth between several priests. Crash, crash. There were more and more wounds on the several priests, and the blood flow continued. Bang, bang, bang. Before the priests could hold on for long, they fell down one after another, covered in blood. None of the 4 priests ran away. I don't know if they are afraid of their god, Enel, or they are really not afraid of death. Hey, where is Enel? Moran purposely kept one alive, looked at him and asked. I will not betray God, you just wait for God to punish you. Oh, then just keep your eyes open and watch how I defeated your god. Boom. Moran kicked him and flew him into the sea of clouds, whether he died or lived to see his own photomorphism. Moran was just asking casually, maybe even if he didn't go to Enel, this guy would come here by himself. Let's go find our things. It's the captain. If the forces of Sky Island are found, they will be dealt with, and if they are not found, he will not bother to trouble them. An hour later, Moran and others finally came to the Golden Town. What? I thought the whole city was made of gold. It's just some gold scattered here and there. Everyone was disappointed, because most of the gold in the city was taken by Enel to make his arc proverbs, so there is not much left. Everyone was still watching, but Moran was walking around, and the gold disappeared inexplicably where he walked. Blue Bonnie was the first to spot that Moran was going around collecting gold. Moran, big brother, where did you hide your gold? I put it away. The gold here is almost taken by the god of Sky Island, that's why there are so few. You don't want to watch the show, help me collect the gold, I will go to a few later place. It's the captain. A lot of people means a lot of power, and they were all collected in a short while. Captain, where's my history text? Where's my big history text? Didn't you say it's here? Robin stared straight at Moran and asked. I mean on this island, not here. Robin asked anxiously, where is that? Come here and hold me tight, I'll take you to the historical text. Robin looked at Moran suspiciously and asked, Captain, don't you want tofu? Moran said with a speechless face, did you see any huge bean vines? Can you go up? Robin turned her head when she heard the words, and looked at the huge bean vine that couldn't be seen at a glance. She really couldn't get up, so she trod obediently and hugged the tofu-loving captain. Those who can fly will come up by themselves, those who cannot fly will stand by. Understood the captain. Green energy erupted from Moran's body and took Robin soaring into the sky. Robin asked curiously, Captain, how do you know this place so well? Have you been here before? Moran, nonsense. Robin, do you know that there is a kind of person called born knowing? Robin rolled his eyes frantically, and said speechlessly, Captain, I'm not Bonnie, so don't use this trick to fool me, Zhao Wang Zhao. Aha, Robin is too smart sometimes, which is not a good thing. Robin asked suspiciously, isn't the captain smart? Moran sighed slowly. It's a good thing for a man to be smart, but it's not necessarily a good thing for a woman who is too smart. It will be, no one wants it. Click. Hey, let go, ah. Moran looked at his shoulder speechlessly and asked, Robin, are you a dog? Those who were still below were puzzled when they heard the screams. I seemed to hear Moran big brother's screams just now, did something happen to him? Acedus glanced at it with knowledge, and immediately exclaimed, leave him alone, maybe this guy is still enjoying it. The other powerful ones all had weird faces. I was thinking how the captain made Robin, who is usually very sensible, so angry that he bit people. Chapter 85. Enel. Moran took Robin through the sea of clouds and arrived at the top of the huge bean vine, where the golden clock tower is located. Hey, puppy, you can come down now. Bah, you are the puppy. Robin let go of Moran, his face flushed slightly. Since she followed Moran, she finally felt the long-lost relaxation and sense of security, and finally regained her lively and cheerful personality. When she was alone, she lived with a mask every day, and finally found someone who can protect her. It's great. Moran saw Robin in a daze and asked, what are you thinking? The text of history is right in front of you, don't you want to read it? Robin glanced at Moran and muttered in a low voice, the straight man has terminal cancer, there is no cure. Snapped. Moran said unhappily, don't think that I can't hear you whispering, go and see if you don't read it, I will put it away. Oh, Robin rubbed PG and walked to the main text of history to read it. After reading it, he turned his head and asked, do you want to listen to the content on the captain's board? Moran came to the golden bell, waved his hand and put away the golden bell and the historical text, and then said, isn't it ancient weapon, Poseidon? Not only do I know, we have seen it before. Robin looked at Moran with a hellish expression and asked, Captain, can you understand the text of history? I don't understand it, I just know it. You have seen Poseidon too. When you were on the Fishman Island, do you still remember the crying mermaid princess? Robin exclaimed. Captain, is she really, Poseidon? I can't believe it, Poseidon is actually her, how do you know, Captain? Moran looked at Robin, who had a black question mark on his face, and said in embarrassment, want to know? Want to know, please beg me. Mo Lan was frantically probing on the verge of death, and then again, Mo Lan's screams sounded. Click, loose mouth, ah. Moran glanced at Robin for a while, thinking viciously in his heart, don't fall into my hands, or I won't slap your PG swollen. Robin watched Moran performing Sichuan opera and asked, Captain, how do I feel, are you thinking about something unhealthy? Moran laughed and said, there's nothing unhealthy. Ha, you're so smart, I just want to play poker with Robin, I don't know if I can win. Moran changed the subject. Come here and hold on tight, we're going down. Robin was still thinking about what Moran meant, and upon hearing this, he could only trot obediently and hug her tightly. In fact, his superpower can envelop people, let people float and fly. Robin has seen the power of tornado, and she also knows Moran's little thoughts, but she didn't pierce it. Robin thought. The captain finally got a little enlightened. Seeing the two coming down, Blue Bonnie trotted up to meet him and asked, Moran big brother, you guys are coming down, I heard screams just now, are you okay? Moran glanced at Robin, and said casually, it's nothing, just bitten by a puppy. A few people who glanced at it with knowledge rolled their eyes wildly. Seeing that everyone still wanted to ask, Moran strategically changed the subject and said, "We're looking for a boat, and then we're leaving here. It's the captain." Quote. Moran started to lead the people in Sky Island, running around like headless chickens. He didn't know where Enel's Arc Proverbs was, so he could only look for it slowly. Boom, boom, boom. The sky was clear, and without warning, there was a thunderstorm. Moran looked up at the sky and said, "This guy still can't bear it, has he found it?" As the captain, the god of that Sky Island. Everyone looked at Moran and asked. That's right, he god Enel, a Logia Thunder Fruit capable user. Tears of envy flowed from the corners of Moran's mouth. Mada's handsome ability was actually obtained by such a sand coin. Boom, crack, squeak, click. One has long earlobes, a scarf tied on his head, bare feet, a golden hoop in his left hand, and an apple in his right. Moran looked at the guy in front of him and knew who it was. Click. Moran stared speechlessly at Enel, who was eating the apple bit by bit, and asked, "Hey, you guys don't talk when you come here, what are you trying to do?" Enel said with a look of disdain. "God, I don't bother to talk to mortals. I will punish you Qinghai people after I finish eating." Looking at the pretending Enel, a seastone handcuff appeared out of nowhere in Moran's hand. He has always had the habit of putting seastone handcuffs in his ring, after all he needs to catch pirates to make money. Boom. A big hole was stepped on the ground. Moran appeared next to Enel in an instant, and gave him a bracelet without saying a word. Asking for flowers. Click. When Enel came to his senses, he was already handcuffed, and looked at Moran with a dazed expression. Bump. Moran raised his foot, and kicked Enel in the face with a whip leg. The whole face was deformed quickly, and Enel was kicked upside down. Boom. It smashed into the ruins not far away, and there was no movement for a long time. Moran handcuffed him not because he was afraid that he would not be able to beat him, but because he was afraid that this guy would run away. These fast-moving guys ran away without paying attention. As Moran walked towards Enel, he sarcastically said, "Enel, get up and continue to panic." Enel stood up with difficulty. His whole body was weak like a drunk man, and he couldn't stand still. Enel looked at Moran and yelled angrily, "B************************************** D, what the hell is this?" He tried it just now, but now he can't use the ability of bailing who tried 100 times, and he can't exert all his strength. Moran looked at the limp Enel, and joked with a smile, "This is a special product of the Blue Sea Seastone, specially prepared for people with abilities like you. How about it? Doesn't it make you feel ecstatic when you wear this?" Moran walked over and grabbed his big earlobe and asked, "Hey, I ask you a question, you don't have to answer, but I will cut off your big earlobe. Where's your arc motto?" Watching Enel who said nothing, Moran tightened his hands. "Pain. It hurts. It hurts. You be asterisk 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 D, let go of my ears." Moran gradually revealed a dangerous expression on his face and said, "Are you sure you don't want to say it?" Enel turned his head and ignored Moran, remaining silent. Moran turned his head to look at the blue Bonnie and ordered, "Bonnie, go to the boat and find a pair of scissors." "Understood, Moran big brother, just wait for a while and I'll be right back." Da da da. Blue Bonnie trotted straight in the direction of the boat and came back a short while later with a pair of large scissors. "Moran big brother, is this okay?" "Can." Moran took the scissors, and just gesticulated on Enel's big earlobe. He just didn't cut it, he just played. Enel was trembling all over, and the cold sweat was dripping down. "You be asterisk 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 D, I'll take you there." Moran glanced at him and said speechlessly, "If I had done this earlier, I would have had it. I'm asking for trouble." Chapter 86. Gaining the Thunder Fruit ability. It didn't take long for Enel to bring Moran and others to the place where the proverbs of the Ark were placed. Seeing the Ark motto made of gold, Moran was speechless for a while. What a waste. Let's go up and see the boat made of gold. This guy is too rich to build a boat out of gold. Blue Bonnie saw the Ark motto that looked like an egg, and said disgustedly, "What an ugly ship." Everyone echoed, "It's really ugly. Moran big brother, what are you looking for with this ship? You don't want to replace our ship with this ship, do you?" Pat. Moran gave her a headache and said speechlessly, "Who told you, I'm going to change ships?" "Oh, Moran big brother, why did you hit me?" Blue Bonnie asked with a puzzled look, "Isn't it? I hit you, because you are so stupid, don't you see what this boat is made of?" Blue Bonnie suddenly realized, gold. It's not hopeless, yes, most of this ship is made of gold. Moran 21 glanced at Enel and continued, "Most of the gold in the Golden Land is used by this guy to build ships." After Moran finished speaking, he walked over and put away the Ark Proverbs with a wave. Enel saw the Ark Proverbs, suddenly disappeared out of thin air, and immediately became anxious. "You be asterisk 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 D, where did you hide my Ark motto?" After speaking, he rushed towards Moran staggeringly, and wanted to bite him with his mouth open. Boom. Moran's feet turned black quickly, leaving only a hole in place. He had already come to Enel, raised his foot and kicked it. Bump. Enel was kicked and flew upside down, hitting a stone pile not far away, causing dust to fly up instantly. When the dust dissipated slowly, I saw Enel lying in the stone ruins, bleeding from the corner of his mouth, motionless, not knowing whether he was dead or alive. Moran said speechlessly, "You are already a prisoner, and you are still so arrogant, who gave you the courage?" Cough. Cough. Enel stood up with an ugly face, his hands were handcuffed by seastone, he couldn't do anything, his dead fish eyes widened, and he stared at Moran viciously. Seeing Enel's unconvinced look, Moran walked over and beat him up. Bang, bang, bang. Everyone saw Enel, who was kicked away by Moran like a ball, and when Enel was about to land, Moran appeared below him in an instant, flew up and kicked back and forth again and again. Lan Bonnie looked at Moran who was playing football and said with emotion, Moran big brother looks fierce, so scary. Bump. When Enel fell to the ground once, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. If he kicked a few times, he would have received a lunch box. Can the system extract his abilities? Moran looked at the half-dead Enel, thinking carefully. Host draw ability requires 1 billion Baileys. It takes a billion Peli to transform into a sea stone that is not afraid of sea water. The system draws out his abilities for me. Host extraction ability needs a carrier to be able to extract. Moran turned his head and said, Bonnie go to the boat and bring a piece of fruit, I'm very useful. Moran big brother, did you forget? You have already eaten our fruit. If there is no fruit, we can only look for it, and there is no fruit nearby. Let's go to the kingdom of the gods for a walk and replenish the food by the way. It's the captain. Looking at the inhuman Enel under his feet, it seems that he has to take this guy with him, so troublesome. Moran grabbed his 2 large earlobes and dragged him away. After a few hours, the pirate ship is here again, Angel Beach is already midnight. I'll just go and find it myself, you guys rest first. Understood the captain. Everyone went back to their rooms to rest one after another. Moran dragged Enel alone, jumped off the boat and walked to Angel Beach. UB ********D, where are you taking me? Moran looked at Enel who had woken up and said, you'll find out later. Moran remembered that there were fruits on Angel Beach. After wandering around Angel Beach for a while, he finally found a suitable one. How does the system draw his abilities? Host just put the fruit on him, don't worry about the rest. It was said that Moran directly knocked Enel unconscious to prevent him from doing bad things. When Mogo put on Enel, a burst of golden light engulfed Enel. The golden light slowly dissipated, and Enel was out of breath. The fruit on Enel's body also becomes devil fruit. Moran picked up the devil fruit and asked, is the devil fruit in the system already transformed? Yes, the host has been remodeled. Click. Hearing that it had been remodeled, Moran took a bite directly. There is no unpalatable problem, just like normal fruit. Moran asked with a puzzled face, the system can't be a fake devil fruit, right? I heard that devil fruit is very bad. The host, the devil fruit, has been modified, and its settings are different from ordinary devil fruit. Moran thinks about it and thinks it makes sense, it would be strange if it hasn't changed at all. After feeling it carefully for a while, Moran felt that there was an extra ability in his body, just like instinct. Clap. Raising his hand and slowly turning into a thunderbolt, Moran felt that he could become a thunderbolt himself. Slowly following the feeling, Moran's whole body turned into a thunderbolt, instantly soaring into the sky, flashing across the sky quickly. Moran flashed back and forth in the air, having a great time playing. He finally has this ability, and from now on, he can hack anyone who is unhappy. After playing for a while, Moran landed next to Enel and kicked him directly into the sea of clouds. It is estimated that the people of Sky Island still don't know that their gods have died. When Moran returned to the boat, everyone else was asleep, and Moran wanted to go back to his room to rest, but he stopped suddenly in the middle of the journey. Moran turned to look at Robin's room, the door was open. This little girl doesn't close the door when she sleeps. What if she encounters a wolf? It seems that I can only protect her. It's really worrying. Chapter 87. Robin was bitten by a mosquito. The next day Sky Island Angel Beach. Moran appeared on the deck with a smug look on his face. Revenge at last, Moran thought secretly. Looking at the people on the deck, he ordered, if you need to buy something, go to the kingdom of God to buy it. Go early and return early, did you hear me? Heard the captain. Seeing Moran's smug look, everyone went to the kingdom of gods together without thinking much about it. They didn't realize that there was one less person today, who usually got up very early, but now it was already high in the sun but there was no one. Watching everyone walk away one after another, Moran moved a deck chair and put it on the beach, basking in the sun with a delicious salted fish. Canis originally wanted to play the piano on the beach, but he saw it from a distance. Moran's pirate ship came over and said hello, Mr. Moran, when are you coming back? Moran opened his eyes and saw, 2 straight long legs, raised his head and saw Canis holding the fox. This little fox is so annoying, it blocks the scenery of the 2 peaks. Moran said inwardly. Mr. Moran. Canis saw Moran staring, her little fox stared blankly and let out another cry. Moran came back to his senses and said, yo, Canis is here. We came back last night, are you here to practice the piano again? Canis asked curiously. Mr. Moran, haven't you met God? 737. Before Moran could answer, a dead body slowly floated over in the sea of clouds, looking horrible and inhuman. Moran glanced at him and said, hey, that's the god of your Sky Island, we met near the Golden Land. He suddenly went crazy and beat himself for some reason, then jumped into the sea and committed suicide. What? Seeing the people floating in the sea of clouds, Canis yelled in panic, attracting the residents of the kingdom of gods near the beach, and they all ran over to watch the excitement. Moran looked at Canis speechlessly. Hey, can you stop barking? Canis saw the intermittent surrounding residents, his face turned red slightly, and he said a little embarrassedly, I'm sorry, Mr. Moran, I didn't mean it. Moran could only helplessly say, it's okay, don't worry about them, you play your CBFI piano, and I will bask in my sun. Call out. Canis still wanted to say a few words of apology, when suddenly a winged horse flew over in the sky, and there was a person riding on the horse's back. Pat, not far from Moran, he looked at a group of residents and asked, what happened? Master Gonfall, we don't know, we just rushed over when we heard screams. Canis saw Gonfur introduce. Mr. Moran, this is the former god of our Sky Island. Canis looked at Moran worriedly and begged, he is a good man, Mr. Moran, can you not kill him? She doesn't believe that Enel jumped into the sea by himself, you can tell from the injuries all over his body, she is not a fool. Moran said with a speechless face, why should I kill him when I have nothing to do? Gonfur asked around but couldn't get an answer. Seeing two people not far away, he walked over here. I'm Sky Knight. Gonfall, do you know what happened here? Seeing that Moran had no wings, he asked again, are you from the Blue Sea? Lord Gonfall, he is Mr. Moran and they are pirates from the Blue Sea. Mr. Moran said that the god Enel committed suicide by jumping into the sea. Canis jumped out to introduce, and the more he talked, the more weird his expression became. In order to prevent them from conflicting, he could only bite the bullet and finish the sentence. What? Gonfall stared wide-eyed, looking at Canis in disbelief. The word, unbelievable, was almost written on his face. Seeing that he doesn't believe it, Canis pointed to the sea of clouds and said, Master Gonfall, you should have seen Enel the god, right? Look at the one floating in the sea of clouds, right? Gonfall, an old man with dizzy eyes, finally saw the person floating in the sea of clouds. Although he is no longer human, Enel is still recognizable with his iconic big earlobes, which are too obvious. Gonfall turned his head in shock, looked at Moran lying on the couch and asked, did you kill Enel? Although he was asking, he had a positive expression on his face. Moran flipped over and continued to bask in the sun. He didn't have time to talk to this old guy. If it was a girl it would be more or less the same. Hee. Seeing that he was being ignored, Gonfall smiled awkwardly, and pulled Canis aside to understand the situation. The two were talking on the sidelines, and glanced at Moran from time to time. After learning about the situation, Gonfall left with a group of residents, and he didn't come over to put his face on his face and his asterisk on his back. Canis came to Moran and said, Mr. Moran, are you going to my house to rest? It's not good to stay by the sea for too long. No need, I will set off after my crew members come back, next time I have a chance, I will go to your house for a while. Moran didn't raise his head, and didn't just refuse directly with his eyes. The scenery is blocked by the little fox, and it is boring not to see it. Mr. Moran, I'll go back first, my father is still waiting for me at home. Well, go back. At this time, the people who went shopping also came back one after another. Moran big brother, we are back, look, this is the fruit I bought for you, and there are many specialties from Sky Island. As soon as Blue Bonnie came back, he ran to Moran to claim credit. What? Moran directly pulled her into his arms and said, well, Bonnie is still good, and I will reward you to bask in the sun with me. When the people who came back saw the two salted fish, they all rolled their eyes. Blue Bonnie lay beside Moran and basked in the sun with him, suddenly remembered that Robin hadn't shown up all this time and asked, Moran big brother, where did Sister Robin go? I haven't seen her today. Before Moran could answer, Robin limped out and Blue Bonnie saw Robin and jumped up and trotted over. Only Moran was left on the spot, messed up in the wind, looking hopeless. Blue Bonnie saw Robin who was limping, and asked worriedly, Sister Robin, what's wrong with you? Did you get hurt somewhere? Robin glanced at Moran with fire in his eyes, gritted his teeth and said, It's okay Bonnie, I just got bitten by a mosquito, it's nothing serious. Puff. Ahem. Hearing Robin's words, Moran spewed out all the fruit that Moran was eating, coughing again and again. Moran quickly returned to the boat and changed the subject. Everyone is back, let's go. It's the captain. Chapter 88. The mischievous dragon roll was beaten by Moran on the leg. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 610. 153. 203. Moran saw Robin, still staring at him resentfully. Walking to her side, he gave a sip. He said, Don't be angry. Come and let me serve you today. After Moran finished speaking, he pulled over a recliner, put Robin on it, and squeezed his shoulders and legs for a while. Robin looked weird, and said angrily, Don't wait on me, are you pinching your shoulders? Are you beating your legs? Pinch your shoulders and slide your hands down, beat your legs with your palms, who taught you? Robin seriously suspects this shameless captain, and is taking the opportunity to anoint him. Hee. Moran smiled awkwardly and said, Why don't you teach me a bit, and wait for you when I learn. After an hour, it becomes like this. Moran was lying on the recliner at this time, commanding like an old man, 250, and Robin just swapped positions. Robin puts a little more force on his shoulders, and a little more strength on his feet. Well, that's right, that's it, keep it up. While reading a book, Robin squeezed Moran's shoulders and legs with his abilities. Moran just said a word, precepts and deeds, and it became like this. Robin didn't know why, but he was fooled by him today. I heard that women in love don't seem very smart. As for whether she lowered her IQ intentionally, or really lowered her IQ, only she knows. Captain, we are at an altitude of 10,000 meters, how do we get down to the blue ocean? Van Orca asked suddenly from the lookout. Moran didn't say a word, turned his head and glanced at Tornado. The meaning is obvious, that is, you should work. Hit the workers. Tornado pouted and glared at Moran angrily, wishing he could run over and bite him. Moran pretended not to see, squinting and laying on the salted fish basking in the sun. When the pirate ship came to the end of the Sea of Clouds, Tornado obediently enveloped the whole ship with superpowers, and the ship began to descend slowly. When Tornado saw Moran lying there enjoying himself comfortably, she immediately took it to heart. When the ship was about to fall into the sea and there was still a distance of more than 10 meters, she directly retracted her superpower and let the ship fall freely. Boom. Unprepared, Moran was thrown out of the deck chair and rolled around on the deck a few times before he stabilized himself. Moran stood up blankly, and said casually, Tornado, be more careful next time, you know. Moran slowly approached the tornado, pretending to be nonchalant. Seeing that Moran didn't blame him, Longwan was secretly happy, but he didn't know that her nightmare was coming. What? When Moran came to the side of the tornado, he made a sudden move and caught the tornado in an instant. The tornado only had time to exclaim, and Moran had put her whole body on his lap, and the next thing was crack, crack, crack. What? Yunlin played more and more vigorously, and also played a sense of rhythm. I thought the light fifth tone was a new type of musical instrument. Crack, crack, crack. Moran, let me go, I don't dare anymore, I really don't care. Hearing the tornado begging for mercy, Moran was still a little bit reluctant. After all, it felt so. I've never been a little bit reluctant to let go. After all, such a cute girl, it would be bad if it was broken. Moran pretended to be serious and asked, do you dare to do it again in the future? Longwan rubbed PG and looked at Moran aggrievedly. His tears might fall at any moment. If Moran was more aggressive, tears would fall down. Tornado just bit his lip, looked at Moran and didn't speak. Just now, I was only paying attention to the feel of the hand, but I didn't pay attention to it. It seemed that the hit was a bit too hard. Moran looked at the tornado with a little embarrassment, not knowing what to do. Just when Moran didn't know what to do, the considerate Robin came over and said, Tornado, let's ignore her, go inside and I'll show you if the injury is serious. Watching the tornado being pulled in by Robin, Moran breathed a sigh of relief. Chitong looked at the bewildered Moran and said, Master Moran, you shouldn't hit her in front of so many people. What hurt her is not her body, but her heart and face. Moran thought about it for a while and figured it out. For a person who wants to save face like a tornado, it is indeed a bit embarrassing to be beaten by him on the leg. Moran touched Chitong's head and thanked him. Thank you, Chitong, it's good that you reminded me, otherwise, I don't even know what I did wrong. Kai Tong squinted his eyes when he was touched by Moran's big hand. His face blushed slightly and shyly said, You are welcome, Mr. Moran, it is my honor to help you. There is an island not far ahead of the captain, shall we land? Van Oka suddenly yelled from the lookout. Moran took a look, but couldn't recognize which island it was. It seems that he still has no sailing talent. Robin, come out and see what island is ahead. Moran yelled directly into it. Just ask if you don't understand, this is the fine tradition that Moran brought from Blue Star. Da. Robin trotted out, took a glance through the binoculars and said, That's Alabasta, Captain, we've been there before. You forgot. Moran said embarrassingly. I look at any island and feel the same, it's normal if you can't recognize it. It appears to have fallen directly from Sky Island near Alabasta. Moran thought for a while and said, There is still a lot of food on board, enough for us to go to the next island without landing. Moran looked at Robin and asked, Where is Robin's next stop? Robin took out the nautical chart and looked at it for a while before saying, If the captain doesn't land in Alabasta, our next stop is Magnetic Drum Island. There is a magnetic drum kingdom there. I heard that there are many doctors there. Don't you want to find a doctor? Maybe there is a suitable one there, maybe. Moran refused without thinking. Dr. 0.9, I already have someone in mind, so I don't need to look everywhere. I went to North Blue this time to find this doctor. Robin asked curiously, Who is the captain who made you go all the way from New World to North Blue to clean up? Everyone on the boat looked over curiously. Moran didn't intend to hide it and said directly, He is a pirate named Trafalgar Law Op Fruit in North Blue, and he is also a doctor. I think it should be enough to let him be our doctor. At this time, Robin suddenly remembered the information bought in Sabayati Archipelago. Moran and asked, Is the captain the one you bought the information on purpose? That's right, it's him. Robin set sail. It's the captain. Chapter 89. The story begins, Blackbeard defects. Grand Line in half a month. On the sea level, the Wanjian pirates sailed slowly. Moran is lying on a deck chair enjoying massage and feeding. At this time, a newspaper placed not far away was blown up by the sea breeze because there was nothing pressing it, and landed beside Moran. Moran glanced at it inadvertently, jumped up in an instant, and picked up the newspaper. After reading it for a while, Moran asked in a deep voice, When did you buy Chitong's newspaper? Chitong saw Moran holding the newspaper with a solemn look on his face. Asked suspiciously, Master Moran bought this newspaper more than 10 days ago, what's wrong? Moran didn't answer Chitong, but said with emotion, I didn't expect the plot to start so soon. During this period of time, I have focused my energy on indescribable things, and I have no time to read newspapers, but I missed this kind of news. I really shouldn't. Master Moran, what is the beginning of the plot? Moran didn't say much about things that can't be changed anyway, and changed the subject. It's okay. Kai Tong comes. Let's continue to salt fish. After finishing speaking, Moran lay down again, and Chitong started feeding again. The captain seized Drum Island. Are we going to land? Van Oka said, standing on the lookout tower. Moran said unhappily. Nonsense. I have eaten fish for several days. Do you still want to eat it? Isn't it because of your blind instructions that we eat fish? Van Oka whispered. Moran raised his head suddenly, squinted his eyes, looked at Van Orka and threatened. If Van Orka has the ability, speak up. Van Oka immediately confessed. I'm sorry, Captain, I was wrong. It turned out that it was because Robin was not feeling well these days. Moran, a sailing idiot, managed to make the pirate ship deviate from the course. It was enough food for 10 days, enough to go to the next island, because the deviation was a waste after a few days, the rest is to go to the sea to catch fish to eat. As for why Robin is not feeling well, I have to ask Mo Lan, which is all due to him. The system opens the personal page face. Summoning lottery system. Host. Alphad. Moran. Identity. Captain of Wanjian Pirates. Age. 20. Ability. Superpower Mind. Advanced Observation Hockey. 6,508 thousandths. Advanced Armament Hockey. 6,808 thousandths. Advanced Conquerors Hockey. 7,008 thousandths. Advanced Physical Skills. 7,008 thousandths. Marine 6 Styles. Moonwalk, Shaved 6,008 thousandths. Great Swordsman. 6,708 thousandths. Strength. Admiral Advanced. Pele. 87 billion 30 million. Unknowingly, there are already so many Baileys, and finally there is no need to worry about Baileys. The strength has finally reached the advanced level of Admiral, and when fighting against the 4 Emperors, he no longer needs to be in front of the people on the boat. Is there anything in the system that can enhance physical fitness? Robin is too weak. Moran wants to strengthen her. In the host system mall, there is a physical enhancement potion that meets the needs of the host. It costs 2 billion Baileys per bottle, and a person can only use 1 bottle in a lifetime. Can it be used by people in this world? Physical enhancement potion, anyone can use the potion. If the system uses this, there won't be any adverse reactions, right? Like growing pieces of chicken. If this is the case, he would rather not find Robin in the future than let her use this potion. Host, don't worry, this potion will only gradually strengthen the physique of the person who uses it, and it will not appear as the host said. That's good. How far can this potion be melted? After using the potion, people who use it within a month will gradually be strengthened to the level of Marine Vice Admiral in this world. Not bad. This can be bought for other people on the ship to use. Although it is not as powerful as the ability upgrade card that can only be used for summoned characters, it is better than nothing. The system will buy me 3 bottles of physical enhancement potions. Ding. Deducting 6 billion berries, purchasing the physical enhancement potion was successful. Moran took out a bottle of potion and walked to Robin's room. Tornado looked at Moran with contempt. She lived next to Robin. This shameless fellow. He cursed in a low voice, and remembered something, and his face turned red slightly. Boom boom boom. When he came to the door, Moran asked, "Are you up?" "I'm coming in." After speaking, without waiting for Robin to speak, he opened the door and walked in. When Robin saw Moran coming in, he said angrily, "What do you want to do in broad daylight?" Moran said speechlessly, "Who do you think I am? I'm here to deliver medicine to you." Robin rolled his eyes, a look of "I believe you are not a ghost." Quote. Hey, drink this, it will strengthen your physique. After receiving the potion, Robin asked curiously, "Can this really enhance your physique?" Seeing that she didn't believe it, Moran asked back, "Have I ever lied to you?" Robin thought to himself, this guy seems to have never lied to him. Thinking of this, I raised my head directly, feeling bored. It's quite delicious. What is this made of? You ask me, who should I ask? Of course, Moran will not say this kind of thing, but joked with a smile. This is made from my boy's urine, which has been refined for 77-49 days. Yes, how do you drink it? Robin rolled his eyes wide at Moran. She wasn't foolish enough to believe that. Go out if you have nothing to do. I still have to rest. After drinking the medicine, Robin will start the master. We've arrived Magnetic Drum Island, don't you want to visit the island? Robin glanced at him, and said angrily, "Do you think I can go shopping now?" Okay. Moran touched his nose in embarrassment and said, "Then you have a good rest, I will let Chitong stay to protect you." After finishing speaking, Moran didn't dare to stay any longer, and walked out in a desperate manner. Moran, who came out, saw that the boat had landed, and directly ordered, "Chitong. Robin is not feeling well these days, you should stay on the boat to protect her. I know Lord Moran's skin. The captain has a group of people who have surrounded us with weapons." Van Oka saw a group of people on the shore on both sides around him and said. When Moran saw this situation, he knew that that guy had already been here, and he thought that if he could meet here, he would be wiped out directly. Oh, looks like I missed it. Chapter 90. Obtaining the title, Dragon Emperor Alphad Moran. A group of people on the coast surrounded the pirate ship. It's over, pirates. One of the leaders came out and said, "Listen up, pirates, leave this place quickly, and leave immediately." Moran lowered his head and said expressionlessly, "We just go to the island to replenish some supplies, can't you?" "We won't fall for that, despicable pirates. This is our island, we cannot allow pirates to step in." "Okay. Pull up the anchor and get out of here. Otherwise, even your ship will be blown up. The people on the shore began to curse and chase people away, obviously not wanting them to land on the island. Moran raised his head to look at the people on the shore, his eyes flashed red, and circles of conquerors hockey pressed over him. Do you think, just you can stop me? Huh, jingle. Bang, bang, bang. When Moran raised his head, people on both sides of the surrounding fell to the ground one after another, the sound of weapons falling, and the sound of a person falling to the ground sounded one after another. When Moran raised his head, Dalton finally saw his appearance clearly, his complexion changed drastically, cold sweat dripped down his face. Dalton knelt on the ground, sweating coldly, and asked tremblingly, "Are you Shichibukai, Alphad Moran?" Moran asked with a look of surprise, "Oh, do you know me?" At this moment Van Orca interrupted suddenly, "Captain, don't you know how famous you are now?" Moran turned his head, looked at Van Orca with a puzzled face and asked, "Tell me what's going on." "Because Whitebeard said something about you. It was reported, the leader of the dragons said that our ship is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, so Whitebeard gave you a title called Dragon King. Whitebeard also said that if you want, he is now the 5th emperor of the New World. So now all over the world, there are some people pretending to be you, cheating food and drinking everywhere. Help yourself to gain fame. Whitebeard is showing his favor to him. It seems that he is afraid that he will catch his son himself." Moran thought to himself. Although he became famous in the last fight against 4 emperors, there are still many people who don't believe it. It can be said that in the 10 times against 4 emperors in New World, none of Whitebeard's words are effective. It's not because he is strong, but because of his prestige. Being the strongest in the world for decades is no joke. He was a little happy when he heard the front one, but when he heard the back, he cursed secretly, "These bastards, won't this ruin my handsome side?" Long Wan stood aside, and said with contempt on his face, "He is a perverted guy, he only knows how to fool around with Robin all day long, so it's strange for him to know." The title, "Good Guy," came out again. It seems that she hasn't learned her lesson from beating her PG last time. Moran narrowed his eyes, glanced at her and said, "Are you itchy again, Tornado?" Da. Tornado was scared in an instant, ran behind Acedus to hide, and then revealed a small head from Acedus' waist and said, "HMPH. You perverted guy, dare to act or not, and don't let others say, I'm not afraid of you now." Moran saw the backer that Long Wan was looking for, and asked with a strange face, "Do you think it would be useful for Long Wan to have her as a backer?" Suddenly, there was an ominous premonition in Long Wan's heart. He raised his head stiffly and looked at Acedus and asked, "Acedus, you should fully protect me, yes, right?" Quote. After she finished speaking, she felt unconfident, because it was only then that she remembered that the relationship between Acedus and Moran seemed to be like the relationship between Robin and Moran, and her heart was instantly chilled. Secretly said, "It's over." Sure enough, Moran just glanced at Acedus, and she silently moved away, leaving only Tornado in place, showing a look of lovelessness. Seeing Moran approaching, he subconsciously covered PG and stepped back. Moran came to Tornado's side in 3 or 2 steps, stretched out his sinful hands, and kept kneading Tornado's fat face, treating her face as dough kneaded into various weird shapes. Wipe, Lonnie, Fang, Guy, Nest. Tornado's face was pinched into various shapes, and he didn't dare to resist, so he could only look at Moran with pitiful eyes and said, "Do you still dare to make fun of me? Whoa, yeah, be you, sweet, spicy." Long Wan spoke word by word in an inarticulate tone. Moran pinched it hard again, and the tornado escaped from the clutches. The little ones disbanded where they were, and each team landed on Magnetic Drum Island. "Don't go alone, do you hear me? Ask for flowers." 0. Heard the captain. "Van Oka, do you know the man, Marshal Dickey?" Moran suddenly thought of this guy. If he hadn't intervened, he would have been a member of Blackbeard's crew in the future. Van Oka asked with a puzzled face, "Who is the Captain Marshal Ditch?" "I don't know this person, nor have I seen him. He is a formidable guy, and he will be an enemy in the future. It doesn't matter if you don't know him, you should go shopping. It's the captain." Van Oka doesn't know Blackbeard. It seems he was invited to board the ship later. If Blackbeard had found a crew a long time ago, then this city would be as deep as hell. Moran walked up to Dalton and asked, "Hey, have you met someone from Blackbeard Pirates?" Dalton's feet trembled, and he stood up unsteadily and said, "Master Shichibukai, Blackbeard Pirates did come here a week ago, but he has already left. Before he left, he destroyed the entire Magnetic Drum Kingdom. As expected of a big villain, Blackbeard is really cruel." Mo Lan thought to himself. Moran waved his hands away and said, "It's all right, let's go." Hearing this, Dalton didn't move. His men were still lying on the ground. He couldn't walk alone. Moran glanced to the side, and he knew why the man with a sense of justice didn't leave, and he didn't care to go straight to the island. These guys are 10 times scarier than the Blackbeard gang. Dalton sighed when he saw Moran walking away slowly. "The streets I walked through, because I had just experienced the war, looked dilapidated, and the dilapidation could not be concealed even by the snow all over the sky." After walking for a while, Moran came to the foot of a mountain, and green energy emerged from his body, floating up into the sky. Moran landed in front of Drum Castle, and saw a small figure playing in the snow not far away. "Hey, where is the little civet cat playing in the snow? Take me with you." Chopper suddenly heard someone talking behind him, his body froze and slowly turned his head, and suddenly reacted and immediately cursed. "I'm a reindeer, not a civet cat. UB asterisk 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 D. Chapter 91. Summon characters again. Moran looked at the anxious Chopper and joked, so you are a reindeer. I just heard that reindeer meat is delicious. Fear slowly climbed up Chopper's face, and his body froze in place, followed by trembling and cold sweat dripping down his body. Stuttering. You, don't come over. Chopper sat on the snow with his buttocks kicking vigorously with his two short legs, and slowly moved his buttocks back. Moran followed step by step, and saw Chopper pouted his butt suddenly, buried his head in the snow to hide, but his whole body was exposed. PFF'd. Ha ha ha, you reindeer is too cute. Moran was amused when he saw the way Chopper pouted his butt and hid his head. Stop kidding. B asterisk 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 D. I wouldn't be happy if you called me cute. When Chopper heard Moran's words, he couldn't help jumping up and being complacent. He was in a good mood, but he said something that didn't match his heart. Floating and floating, Chopper gradually came back to his senses. There was a guy who wanted to eat him in front of him. Fear slowly ran up his face, hands and feet, and he ran to the castle shouting, 211. Help. Ah, Dr. Doriel, help me. Boom. Chopper knocked down the castle gate and ran inside, yelling as he ran. Moran also walked in, and as soon as he entered, he saw Dr. Kurha, standing in the hall and looking at himself with a solemn face. How did you, a guy from New World, appear here? Moran babbled. The New World is boring, so come to the Grand Line and just hang out. Dr. Kurha heard this, rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, do you think I will believe your nonsense? Forget it. It's none of my business anyway. After finishing speaking, he looked indifferent, sat down on the sofa, crossed his legs, took a bottle of wine and drank. At this time, the door of a room opened, and Chopper revealed a head and said, Madame Doriel, he wants to eat me. Dr. Kurha said speechlessly, if he really wanted to eat you, you would have already lost all your bones, come out. Chopper was dubious, and walked out sideways like a crab, fixed his eyes on Moran, as if he was afraid that Moran would eat him, came to the sofa and quickly hid behind the sofa, but this time he hid his head, the whole the body is exposed. Dr. Kurha looked at Moran and asked, you can sit anywhere. Then, what is the purpose of you coming here to find me? Dr. Kurha saw Moran sitting down and asked directly. I came here to ask you, have you collected medical books in this country? Moran thought of the doctors here, so the well-known medical skills must be similar there, so he planned to take away all the medical records here and prepare some gifts for the future ship doctors. Dr. Kurha asked in surprise, you want the medical books here? Moran didn't hide anything and said directly, that's right. Medical books are the life of every doctor, who will give them to you. When Chopper heard that Moran wanted the country's medical books, he jumped out instantly and yelled at Moran. Moran said blankly, sure enough, your reindeer is too noisy, it's better to eat it. Would it be better to roast it, or just stew it whole? Thinly sliced venison, stewed in raw vegetables, I think it should be delicious. Moran walked up to Chopper, stroked his chin and studied in circles around Chopper, and tears of excitement flowed from the corners of his mouth as he spoke. Damn, I'm not food, Chopper. If you don't want to be eaten by him, just change back. Dr. Kurha saw Chopper transformed and said casually. After speaking, he stood up and went to a room to open the door, which was full of various medical books. Almost all the medical books in this country are here, take them if you want. Moran was a little surprised. You just gave it to me. Moran didn't intend to snatch it either, he just asked and he didn't think it would be so easy to give it to him. He thought it would be okay if Dr. Kurha didn't give it to him. Dr. Kuleha said indifferently, I have spent more than 100 years in vain. I can recite the medical books here fluently, so why not give it to you? At worst, just spend some time writing it out. This old woman is so happy, so it is so. Moran thought of this and said, then I'm not going to be polite, I owe you a favor. After Moran finished speaking, all the medical books disappeared without a trace. I don't dare to accept the favor of a big man like you. Dr. Kurha was silent for a while and then said, if I meet Chopper in the future, please take care of me. Moran rolled his eyes speechlessly, said no, and immediately changed his ways to ask for the favor back. Sure enough, these old guys don't have a fuel-efficient lamp. There was no need for Moran to stay when he got the things, he floated up and flew down the mountain directly when he went out. Dr. Kurha saw Moran flying away and said, Chopper, I know you want to go to sea, but he is not suitable for you to follow. Chopper said without thinking, I don't want to go to sea with him. That's good, if you meet him at sea in the future, you don't want to be his enemy, here. Chopper asked with a puzzled look, why can't you make him your enemy? He is only 20 years old now, and he can already compete with the 4 emperors of New World. If nothing happens to him in the future, he will only get stronger and stronger. Dr. Kurha said with a serious face. After speaking, he quickly changed his face and said with a smile, but he owes me a favor. If you encounter difficulties in the future, you can ask him for help, but there is only one chance. It turns out that Dr. Doriel exchanged favors with him by using medical books. Chopper thought to himself. Moran stopped in the middle of the flight and didn't go back directly. The system summons characters for me. Deducting 3.2 billion Bailey summoned characters. Random summoning characters. A summoning gate exuding golden light appeared in front of Moran. The golden light of the summoning gate is getting stronger and stronger. One came out of the summoning gate, with skin as snowy as snow, golden hair with a shawl, a pair of emerald green eyes, and a pretty face without makeup. Wearing a dress with a blue background and white borders, a blue patterned silver-bottomed armor on the outside, pure white trousers on the legs, the feet and hands are completely covered by the thick silver armor, and only the face is on the whole body skin is exposed. Chapter 92. Summoning, Arturia Pendragon. Congratulations to host for successfully summoning. For the summoned character, the system will directly enter the host information, One Piece world information into the character's mind. Character. Arturia Pendragon. Gymnastics. Advanced. Ability. Magic power, Great Swordsman. Skills. Pile. Weapon. The Sword of Promised Victory. Favorability. Max. Strength. Admiral Jr. Knowledge color. Armed color. Conquerors, unawakened. Learn Hockey proficiently. Use Admiral Intermediate. Learn Advanced Hockey Admiral Advanced, equal to 4 Emperors. Hockey in the system Altria has not yet awakened. Can I use the upgrade card to directly upgrade her to a high level? Okay, all of them need 9 ability upgrade cards to reach the advanced level. Does the host need to buy them? As soon as it heard that Moran wanted to consume, the system quickly cooperated actively. The system is also very puzzled. The host of tens of billions of Bailey just doesn't consume, and it will be moldy lying in the system space. The system will buy me 9 ability upgrade cards. Use all of them for Arturia, and upgrade all her Conqueror's Hockey to high level. After deducting 4.5 billion Baileys, the purchasing ability upgrade card was successful. The character Conqueror's Hockey has been successfully upgraded. Strength tip 260 to Admiral Advanced. Moran is now rich and arrogant, so he doesn't need to practice slowly, he can directly use ability upgrade cards to upgrade, forcing Grammon. Arturia is receiving information from this world, slowly recovering from her confusion. He said blankly, "Are you Lord Moran?" She accepted the information from the system and knew that she was not summoned in the form of a servant, heroic spirit, but in a way similar to rebirth. Hearing Arturia's voice, Moran's consciousness withdrew from the system and said, "That's right, I am Alphad Moran, welcome to Arturia." Arturia said with a blank expression, "Master Moran, thank you very much for giving me a new life." Moran looked at Arturia with a blank expression all the time, and said in a strange way, "Thank you, there is no need, how about you just smile and just thank me?" After Moran finished speaking, he stretched out his hand, pinched Arturia's chin, raised her head to face him, and stared straight into her eyes. Arturia was stunned by Moran's sudden teasing, her face blushed slightly when she realized it, CBFA, was a little bewildered with evasive eyes, and hurriedly turned around not daring to look at Moran. Seeing Arturia will still be shy, it seems there is still hope. Moran thought to himself. Moran is 2 meters tall, and Arturia just reached his chest, stepped forward 2 steps and lowered her head close to her ear, saying, "You look pretty shy." Moran looked at Arturia who was at a loss nervously with her head down, her whole body stiffened in a daze, and she stopped teasing her. "Let's go back. We're in a hurry." Moran walked in front, and Arturia followed silently with her head down without saying a word. As he was walking, Moran stopped suddenly, Arturia lowered her head and couldn't see, and directly bumped into Moran's back. She was covered in hard armor, so she had to find a way to get her to take off the armor. Moran thought to himself. Moran turned around and said, "Arturia, you don't have to pretend to be yourself in front of me, you can be the truest self, you know." Moran finally figured out why he felt weird seeing Arturia. Because of the max favorability degree, Arturia has been suppressing herself and not letting herself show other emotional expressions, so there is a sense of disobedience. Moran, who wanted to understand this, joked, "Look up and look at me," the doctor gave me a smile. Arturia lowered her head, buried her little head into the 2 mountain peaks, and said in a voice too small to be heard, "Master Moran, I'm not used to it." As if he was afraid that Moran would get angry, he added, "I will change it in the future, please give me some time." Moran touched her head and said, "We will spend a lot of time together in the future and don't worry, you will get used to it slowly in the future. But I thought in my heart, one day I will slowly remove all your disguise, including the armor, together." Arturia felt that Moran was stroking her hair, but her face blushed slightly, and she didn't stop him. Moran said casually, "I think you look better without armor." Arturia didn't respond to him, it seems that she has to take her time. "Let's go back. Our partners should be with us. Do we have any other companions?" "How many?" Altria has slowly adapted, and asked. "Besides you and me, we have 9 partners, all of whom are very reliable. You will see them later." After Moran finished speaking, he took Arturia's hand very naturally, and walked towards the pirate ship. Arturia didn't resist either, she just lowered her head with a blushing face. One is 2 meters tall and the other is 1.5 meters tall. Anyone who doesn't know them will think that Moran is raising a child. When the 2 came to the beach, the other members had already returned. Da da da. There was a sound of footsteps on the boat, a small head appeared on the boat, looked at Moran under the boat and said, "Hello, Moran big brother, you are back." "Who is this man?" "The new companion." "Hello, my name is Arturia, and I'm a new member." Hi, welcome, my name is Blue Bonnie." Before Moran had time to introduce, Arturia had already started chatting with everyone on the boat, so it was a saving grace for him to introduce. Seeing everyone getting to know each other, Moran said, "We're all getting to know each other, then it's time for us to set off." "Bonnie food fresh water, are these ready?" "She is in charge of food and drink," Moran asked, looking at Blue Bonnie. "Moran big brother is ready." Moran looked at Robin again and said, Robin, we don't have much time to go directly to Upside Down Mountain. Understood the captain. He had been slow and not in a hurry before, because the plot hadn't started yet, but after seeing the news of Blackbeard, he knew that there was not much time left. If he doesn't go to Inverted Mountain sooner, his ship doctor will probably enter the Grand Line. By then, the Grand Line will be so big, where can he find someone? Quack. A group of news birds flew overhead, Moran waved, and a news bird flew down with a plop. I bought a newspaper and read it, and a reward order suddenly fell from the middle of the newspaper. Moran glanced at it and saw a smiling face like a 250, just as he thought, the plot has already begun. If you go to North Blue now, you may miss Trafalgar Law, so just wait directly at Upside Down Mountain. Trafalgar Law should also come to Grand Line during this time period. Chapter 93. Arriving at Upside Down Mountain. Grand Line in half a month. On the sea level, the Wanjian pirates sailed slowly. Moran was lying on a deck chair, basking in the sun leisurely. Moran and others didn't even land on Whiskey Peak, and rushed over directly to Inverted Mountain. Everyone's dinner is ready, come and eat. Blue Bonnie trotted out of the kitchen and said. Moran went straight to the restaurant, he had to eat at Shanyu. At this moment, Arturia came out of her room, her golden hair was decorated with blue ribbons and her hair was coiled up, she looked like a noble girl in a medieval western court. When the hair is up, it looks gentle, dignified and beautiful. He is not wearing any armor either. After half a month of hard work, Moran has changed into his daily wear, a white, 173, slim top and a blue knee-length skirt. Moran was stunned, and when he came back to his senses, he praised. Arturia, you are really beautiful like this. I think you still look good like this, don't wear armor or something in the future. Arturia ignored him, but the dumb hair on the top of her head swayed from side to side, which showed that she was not at peace. Moran couldn't help stretching out his hand to pinch the hair when he saw it moving. He was very curious about why it moved by itself, but after pinching it, he found that it was no different from the hair. Moran pinched it and asked curiously. Arturia, you dumbass, it's so strange, it's still moving. Arturia blushed slightly, and directly slapped his evil palm, walked towards the restaurant, took 2 steps and said. This is the honor that symbolizes King Arthur, anyone can do not touch. Moran pinched her hair on purpose, thinking to himself, we must develop her girly side. Although Queen Fan is good, he still prefers the cute Arturia. How long has it been, haven't you captured her yet? Robin walked past Moran, looked at him and teased. Snapped. Moran will give him a backhand, he can't take advantage of this Yuji, he can only take advantage of it. Robin said with disdain. Cut. That's all you can do. Robin, you are not cute at all. I hope you can still be so tough when you fight. With a weird smile on Moran's face, he said slowly. Robin blushed slightly, she was indeed no match for this shameless captain in fights, every time she fights, she begs for mercy and admits defeat first. There is no way Moran has Admiral's high-level strength, so it is understandable that she is not an opponent. Cough. Cough. Blue Bonnie showed a small head from the restaurant and said, Moran big brother come over to eat, or they will eat up. Come right away. When Moran and Robin walked into the restaurant, everyone else was already eating, and he couldn't bear it. Hey, I said to you people, you should eat before the captain comes. This is against the rules. Van Oka said without raising his head. Captain, you said it yourself. There are only 2 rules on our ship. You can't be bullied and you can't rob civilians. Captain, have you forgotten? Moran asked a little confused. Have I ever said such a thing? Van Oka said with a positive face. Yes, just when the Iron Pirates are being subdued. Others also nodded and echoed. I did. It seems that he really said this, why does he have the feeling of shooting himself in the foot with a stone? Moran had no choice but to join in, and the Tianfan army wiped out the food. Robin, how long before we get there? Upside Down Mountain. Moran asked while cooking. We've passed Whiskey Peak and it shouldn't be long before we get to Upside Down Mountain. Then Uchiha Madara suddenly asked. Master Moran, when are we going back to New World? He only likes to fight. Since he came to Grand Line, he can only spar with Senju Hashirama once in a while, but he can't fight too much, he is almost suffocated. Acedus also looked at Moran eagerly. She also wanted to go back to New World. Only the strong ones there could make her interested in fighting. The people in the Grand Line are too weak. Captain, we also want to go back to New World. Grand Line is not fun at all. A few more jumped out clamoring to go back to New World. Moran glanced at several people and said with a blank expression, we don't have any medical skills on board. If you have this ability, we can go back now. If not, don't talk so much nonsense. A few people clamoring to go back to New World, seeing Moran's expression and tone, instantly shrank their heads and continued to work hard without daring to say anything to New World. Moran didn't want to stay here either, but sailing at sea without a doctor, it would be difficult to deal with illness and injuries, and he might die, which he didn't want to happen. Robin felt that the atmosphere was not right, and quickly changed the subject. Captain, are we going directly to North Blue? There is not much food and fresh water on board. We're not going to North Blue anymore. Trafalgar Law should be coming to Grand Line during this period, we'll just wait for him at Upside Down Mountain. I didn't expect it to be so hard to find someone. If I knew it, I would have sent someone over to invite him. When I found this guy, I would beat him up and invite him. Moran thought viciously in his heart. Trafalgar Law. In North Blue suddenly sneezed. Is it strange that the weather has turned cold recently? At this time, he was sailing to the upside-down mountain, preparing to enter the Grand Line, but he did not know that danger was already waiting for him at the entrance of the Grand Line. A day later, Wanjian pirates finally arrived not far from upside-down mountain. Van Oka was on the observation deck, and saw not far away, perpendicular to the Grand Line, dividing the 0.4 world ocean into two, red line. Van Oka looked a little absent-minded. After watching for a while, he came back to his senses and said, "Captain, I saw red line." Moran, who was salting fish and basking in the sun, heard this, jumped up and ordered, "Van Oka, find a nearby lighthouse and we can go there and land." Understood the captain. The captain saw the lighthouse, it's about 1,000 meters away on the left. Van Oka said after aiming his sniper rifle for a while. Upon hearing this, Moran immediately ordered, "Robin sails to the left." It's the captain. The height cannot reach the top, the length cannot reach the head, this red line is really spectacular. Moran looked at the mainland not far away and said with emotion. Chapter 94, The Giant Whale, Laboon. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. 285. 74. 249. The pirate ship slowly approached the lighthouse, and suddenly the sea turned upside down, as if a huge thing was about to break through the water. "Captain, there is a big sea kings in the sea, if you go down like this, the boat will capsize, you should think of a way." Robin looked at the swaying pirate ship and said worriedly. "Laboon the whale," Moran whispered. Moran turned around and looked around, but he didn't find the tornado, so he had no choice but to do it himself. Green energy erupted from Moran's body, enveloping the entire pirate ship. The ship slowly floated upwards, and finally stabilized the ship and stopped receiving the plate. Tornado hid on purpose just now, and saw that Moran had already dealt with it with his abilities, so he came out and taunted. "Hee, you are finally willing to do it yourself." Moran was not angry but said, "As a crew member, you actually let the captain do it yourself, isn't it a failure for you?" Long Wan had a black question mark on her face, obviously she couldn't understand what Moran meant. Seeing that Tornado couldn't understand, Moran had no choice but to add, "You will fall out of favor. If you fall out of favor, you will fall out of favor, only, who will favor you?" Tornado's eyes were erratic, and he said inappropriately. Moran came over and pinched Tornado's chin, stared into her eyes and asked, "Are you sure?" Tornado's eyes are evasive, smoke is coming from the top of his head, and his pink and tender face is like a red apple. Moran yelled in his heart that he couldn't take it anymore, and wished he could take a bite. Less wordy, I don't care about cases. You are spoiled." Moran thought to himself that the voices of these women are really amazing. When he started to yell, he could immediately stop the voice, and the voice became smaller and smaller after speaking, so that people with his strength could hardly hear it clearly. Rumble. A huge whale broke through the water and exposed its head, which made Moran give up the idea of continuing to play with the tornado. "Next time let me do it, be careful with your PG." Before leaving, Moran threatened with a half smile. Seeing Moran walking to the edge of the railing, Tornado cursed in a low voice. "This shameless, hateful B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** we are blocked by this whale. It's okay. Let's fly a little higher. It won't jump out of the sea, how could it stop us? Moran big brother, this whale, why is it so scarred? When flying over the whale's head, Blue Bonnie asked, seeing the crisscross wounds on the whale's head. This whale used to be with a pirate group. Later, they felt that the Grand Line was too dangerous. The pirate group put the whale here, and agreed to wait for their pirate group. After they circled the world, we can meet again, but that pirate group has been away for 50 years and has not come back. Because it wants to see its master, it has been bumping its head against the red line, which will never be broken, for decades, and wants to go to red line. The other side of the line was looking for its owner, but the red line couldn't be so easily smashed, but instead scarred itself. Woo woo woo. Moran big brother is so pitiful, can you help him? The eyes of the other girls were all red, and they all looked at Moran eagerly, as if they were going to cry for you if they didn't agree. The big men on the boat didn't respond, but the girls are still too emotional. Moran said helplessly, I can't help with this. I can't go to the underworld to find someone for it. Captain, are all the members of the pirate group dead? Several girls asked anxiously with red eyes. It's not all dead, there is only one skeleton left, which is the skeleton you saw moving last time, and it's the member of the pirate group. Seeing the expectant eyes of several women, Moran quickly interrupted. Don't think about it, we don't have so much time to find someone for it so far away. The most is to persuade it, don't let it hit red line. Finding someone is impossible. Seeing Moran's refusal, Lan Bonnie pouted and said, Moran big brother is so stingy, he doesn't have any love at all, and it won't take long to find someone for him. Moran said unhappily. Yes, yes, yes. I don't have love, because I fed it to the dogs. While talking, Moran glanced randomly at the girls. The other women looked at him with fire in their eyes, only Lan Bonnie said with a puzzled face. Moran big brother, you are lying, you are still alive and well, and you don't seem like a heartless person. Quote. Robin pulled Lan Bonnie over without a word, and whispered, he meant to feed us love, and he's calling us puppies. Boom. The sons and daughters also wanted to come to find Moran's theory, but they were stopped by the shaking of the boat when it fell on the sea, and Moran also took the opportunity to escape. Cluck cluck. Is anyone here? No one there. Moran came to the lighthouse and knocked on the door, but no one responded. It must be in the belly of the whale. Thinking of this, Moran emitted green energy and flew towards the whale, before landing on top of the whale's head. He remembered that the whale had a tunnel to its belly, but he didn't know where it would hide. Moran, what are you looking for? Do you need my help? Tornado floated over at some point and asked. Moran looked at Tornado suspiciously. She was afraid that he would really stop pampering her in the future, so she came here to be courteous, right? Moran didn't point it out, but said, I'm looking for a passage. This whale was dug on the body by an old man, and a passage was dug. Please help me find it. Seeing that Moran didn't blame her, he said happily, I know, Wang Hao, I will definitely help you find it. The two people turned around above the whale's head, but they couldn't find the entrance to the passage. It's strange, isn't the passage above the head? Moran flew down when he thought of this, and searched around his body, but still couldn't find it. What a hell of a winter. Don't look for the dragon roll, let's go back first. Anyway, he is not in a hurry, the old man will come out sooner or later. Captain, what are you and Tornado looking for? As soon as Moran came back and landed, Luo came over and asked. It's nothing. I was looking for a passage into the whale's belly, but I couldn't find it. Moran, come here, I found the entrance to the passage. Hearing the words of the tornado, Moran flew over again, and she really found it. It turned out that the passage was in a hidden place of a wound, no wonder it couldn't be found. Chapter 95. Abnormal Tornado. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 384. 96. 128. Moran and Tornado followed the passage and walked inside. After walking for an unknown amount of time, they finally saw an iron gate in front of them. Moran's foot turned black quickly, and he kicked it as soon as he raised his foot. Boom. Thump. The iron gate was kicked out directly, falling into the stomach acid and kicking up a piece of acid, which splashed everywhere. An iron house boat was floating in stomach acid. The old man on the boat only glanced at Moran and the two of them when he heard the movement. He ignored it and continued to read the newspaper. Seeing the blue sky and white clouds in the sky, Tornado exclaimed, Moran, why is there a blue sky and white clouds in the belly of the whale? Moran explained. These are painted, not really blue sky and white clouds. Ah, the tornado flew directly to the top and looked at it, exclaiming, it's amazing, it's just like the real thing. This old man should be the ship doctor of One Piece, Korax. Thinking of this, Moran flew over here, and said hello, the old man sees the guests coming, so why don't you entertain them? Crocus said without raising his head, guests don't know how to open the door with their feet, why would you come here? I'm here to find someone, and I need to stay here for a while, you don't mind. After Moran finished speaking, without waiting for him to agree, he took out a recliner from the ring and lay down on it, starting the life of salted fish. Crocus said unhappily, you are really welcome. The tornado flew down after getting tired of looking at it, floated not far from Korax and asked, old man, who are you? She wasn't Moran, anyone would know that. When asking someone a question, it's polite to state your name first, isn't it? Long Wan was a little embarrassed and said, ah, that's right, I'm sorry, my name is Kolax, I'm a lighthouse keeper in Cape Gemini, I'm 71 years old, blood type, AB, zodiac sign, Gemini. Kolax was still chattering about introducing himself, but he didn't know that the tornado was already trembling with anger, and the green energy on his body was getting stronger and stronger, like a bomb that would explode at the first touch. Moran felt that the whole space began to tremble, and said slowly, old man, I advise you to shut up quickly. Otherwise, this place will suffer. In fact, without Moran's reminder, he also felt the overwhelming momentum of Mount Tai, and the cold sweat poured down. Little girl, put away your arrogance. Otherwise, you will die. Long Wan asked with a dangerous face, who do you think will die? Coax said directly, I am. Tornado roared, it's you. Moran couldn't stand it any longer and persuaded, Tornado don't talk to him, or you will be P********* D to death. When he watched this scene in anime, he saw it once, but he didn't expect to see the live-action version. Long Wan's face was full of arrogance and his nostrils turned to the sky, HMPH. I won't get angry with an old man. I don't know who was trembling with anger just now, I can't remember, did you see the tornado just now? The dragon roll exploded in an instant. Moran, you be D, go to hell with me. Pouting his mouth, he rushed towards Moran, opened his small mouth aggressively, and bit down, but Moran's hand turned black instantly. Click. Long Wan's eyes were full of tears in an instant, and the tears could fall at any time, and it was a familiar routine, showing a cold face, trying to win his sympathy, this time it was absolutely impossible. Hey, just one bite, don't bite randomly next time. I thought it was impossible in my heart, but my body was quite real. Seeing that the tornado did not bite, Moran asked, aren't you going to bite? Long Wan still looked at Moran with tears in his eyes, and thought in his heart, Moran is so kind to me, but I'm always angry with him, isn't it wrong? Moran watched Tornado without speaking, and could only hug her up and comfort her, what's wrong today? You're so sentimental. Being carried into his arms, Long Wan blushed slightly and said, I just feel sorry for making you angry all the time. I don't care about anything, don't think about it so much, maybe I just like your arrogant look. No one has ever been so kind to me, Moran, you are so kind. Said that the whole person got into Moran's arms, closed his eyes and fell asleep directly in his arms, unable to come out. Moran didn't stop it either. Anyway, the tornado is so small, it's just a practice of holding a baby, maybe it will be useful in the future. Colax rolled his eyes wildly and ate dog food for no reason. Isn't this to bully him, a single dog who has been single for 71 years? Immediately, he couldn't read the newspaper anymore, and walked directly into the house. Asking for flowers. Moran also squinted on the recliner for a while. I don't know how much time passed. The houseboat suddenly overturned and swayed, shaking both of them awake. Moran stood up holding the tornado, put away the deck chair, and flew towards the exit of the passage. He doesn't want to stay here anymore, or the whale shakes it from time to time, affecting the quality of sleep. These two men and women are finally gone, it's just too bullying. Crocs slowly walked out of the house and said. After a while, Moran flew outside holding the tornado, looked down at the tornado and said, come down when you wake up. Long Wan closed his eyes in an instant, and muttered in his mouth, I am not awake yet. Moran looked at the tornado of his own hypnosis, annoyed and funny, so he had no choice but to continue hugging. Seeing the whale Laboon roaring and about to hit the red line, again, Moran flew up to its eyes and shouted, Laboon Brook is still alive. Whale Laboon stops the sound instantly, just like pressing a switch. Seeing that Laboon was quiet, Moran said, Brook is sailing far away on the Grand Line, he won't come back for a while, and I don't think he wants to see you, scarred. Quote. Oh, Laboon yelled again, as if responding to Moran, but unfortunately he couldn't understand, and his knowledge was not to Roger's level. Don't hit red line in the future, remember. Oh. Boom. Laboon roared again, and plunged happily into the sea. Hey, how do you guys know about Laboon? At some point, Colax came out of Laboon's stomach, floated in the sea, looked at Moran and asked. Guess it. After speaking, Moran flew to his own boat without looking back. Young people nowadays are not cute at all. Moran didn't want to say it, and Colax couldn't do anything about it. He didn't even think about it with force, he could feel how terrifying this little guy was. Chapter 96. Ship Doctor, Trafalgar Law. Open black lens bracket 3 days later, the mountain will be turned upside down close black lens bracket. Wanjian pirates have been staying here for 3 days, but the person waiting has not yet arrived. Moran also called Shaki and asked her to check it out. Wait a minute. At this time, Moran was lying on the sun lounger by the seashore, enjoying salted fish every day. The difference was that he had a curled up tornado on his body. These days, this little girl doesn't know why, but always likes it. Get into his arms and act like a baby, to bask in the sun with him. Several other girls began to envy Tornado. They don't have the shape of a tornado, so they can only envy them, but there is nothing they can do about it. Arturia's shape can fit into Moran's arms, but she can't hold back this face, so she can only envy her. Da da da, boo boo boo, boo boo boo. At this time, Blue Bonnie hurried over with a phone bug and said, Moran big brother. Moran big brother, your phone bug is ringing. Massimo 21 She, I'm Alphad Moran, Marshal mentally disabled, why are you looking for me? Moran took the phone bug from Blue Bonnie and went straight to Sengoku. Sengoku got straight to the point. Alphad Moran, are you near Upside Down Mountain now? That's right, I'm upside down now, what's the problem? Moran couldn't figure it out, Blackbeard probably hasn't caught Ace at this moment, what is Sengoku doing with him? Sengoku, who was far away in naval headquarters, glanced at Garp and said, there is a group of Straw Hat pirates, they should pass by your place in the past few days, you catch them back for me. Hearing the tone of Sengoku's order, Moran was upset for a while, please bear with it. After a while, Rebecca, will save my wife, Rebecca, and will definitely fight with Doflamingo, so, Shichibukai, will come then it's done. Marshal mentally handicapped, I will give you a chance to reorganize the language, please understand that I am not your marine soldier, you are not qualified to order me, understand? Ha ha ha, boy Moran, you are right, don't listen to him, you are not a marine, you don't need to catch pirates. Garp's voice suddenly came from the phone bug. Moran thought to himself. Probably because he is afraid that he will really catch his grandson, Monkey D. Luffy. Sengoku blew his beard and stared angrily and shouted. Garp, shut up, or get out. I show off to myself every day, and I always talk about training my grandsons to be marine soldiers, but they all run to become pirates. Sengoku thought indignantly. Don't you like to catch pirates to earn rewards? You don't catch any pirates that come to your door. Moran said slowly. If you raise his bounty to 3 billion, I might think about it. Who do you look down on when it's only 30 million? Sengoku felt bad when he heard this, and shouted, you want 3 billion for a little pirate, why don't you go grab it? Moran said with a speechless face, you also know it's a little pirate. You let me catch the little pirate, don't I want to lose face? If you are looking for me, prepare your money. If you don't have money, don't look for me. Bye bye. Boom. You have a fart face. Kaka. Sengoku wanted to curse, but the phone bug closed his eyes, and Sengoku could only turn his head to look at Garp, and cursed him to vent his anger. As soon as I hung up the phone, Robin came over and asked, Captain Upside Down, there is a pirate ship coming down the mountain, should we intercept it? Moran sat up, patted Tornado's PG and said, get up, little slob. Tornado just raised his head and glanced at him, then changed his position, wrapping his hands around Moran's neck, hanging directly on it, with no intention of coming down at all. Moran could only hold her. When Moran came to the exit of Upside Down Mountain, a small submarine had already stopped there, and Uchiha Madara stepped on the sea to block their way. Heart pirates. At this time, Beppo was on the pirate ship, running around all over the deck and shouting at the same time. Captain, we are going to die. We are going to die. Just entered the Grand Line and met Shichibukai. Moran saw from a distance that there was only one bear and Trafalgar Law on the submarine at this time, and there were no other people on the boat, probably they hadn't boarded the boat yet. This would prevent him from chasing people away. Trafalgar Law looked at Beppo running around, and said in a deep voice, Beppo, please be quiet. Hearing this, Beppo quickly bowed and said, I'm sorry. Trafalgar Law didn't respond to it, but stared at Uchiha Madara in front of him and said, What's the business of you stopping me, Madara? Uchiha Madara said blankly, Master Moran wants to see you, come with me. The head of the Moran family has asked me for. However, before he finished speaking, Uchiha Madara had come behind him at some point, reached out and grabbed his collar and flew up, flying towards the place where Moran was. He is the most active, because he really wants to leave this ghost place, and he almost got sick these few days. Captain. Beppo anxiously shouted and wanted to help, but Uchiha Madara turned his head and stared at him, and immediately sat down on the deck in fright. Sitting on the deck, Beppo muttered softly, It's so scary. After a while, 377 inches Trafalgar Law was brought to Moran, and he also saw the man holding the little girl. The head of the Moran family doesn't know what you want me to do. Moran took a look at it with knowledge, and his strength is a bit weak, but strength is not important in front of him who cheats, what matters is his medical skills. Moran said blankly, My ship lacks a ship's doctor, Trafalgar Law will be my ship's doctor. Trafalgar Law said without thinking, Okay. I didn't expect the promise to be so straightforward. Moran looked at this guy a little puzzled, and said to himself, I have been waiting here for so long, and I wanted to beat him up, but I didn't expect the promise to be so straightforward, I can't find it. There is a reason. A drop of cold sweat dripped from the forehead of Trafalgar Law, and said secretly, It's so dangerous. I was almost beaten. Master Moran, can we go back to New World? Uchiha Madara said impatiently. Moran glanced at the sky and said, I'm afraid it won't work today, the sun is about to set. You can prepare first, we will set sail tomorrow. It's the captain. Chapter 97. Straw Hat Pirates. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 85. 21. 28. Next morning, everyone was preparing for the preparations before sailing, but Moran brought Luo into the whale body. Old man, I heard that your medical skills are very powerful, so I found a successor for you. What do you think of him? After finishing speaking, Moran brought the confused Lola to him, and said, In case you bring your medical skills into the coffin, it would be wasted, and I can't see it being wasted. Korax raised his head, glanced at him and said angrily, You've got a good plan to bring your own crew to be my successors. Korax was over 70 years old, and he just planned to find someone to inherit his medical skills, so he stood up and observed Luo for a while before saying, I can pass on my medical books to him, but I don't have time to teach him, how much he can learn depends on his ability. Moran was overjoyed, but said with a blank face, I'm only interested in your medical books, I'm not interested in you teaching him medical skills. The medical books are under the bed at the lighthouse, go get them yourself. After speaking, he lowered his head and continued to read the newspaper, obviously not wanting to see Moran. The two of them left 977 soon after. When they came outside, Luo asked, Is Captain Moran very good at medicine? Moran continued to walk in front, and said as he walked, The ship doctor on the Roger Pirates, is it serious? Moran was walking, and suddenly found that Luo behind him hadn't followed, turned around in doubt and asked, Why didn't you leave? Luo was a little embarrassed to speak, and looked at Moran shyly, but couldn't speak. In fact, he didn't need to say it, Moran knew what he wanted to say. You want to talk about you and Doflamingo? Luo looked at Moran in surprise and asked, Captain, do you know about me and Doflamingo? Moran said speechlessly, Nonsense. Do you think if I didn't know about you, I would come here from New World to intercept you? Luo looked at Moran in surprise, he thought it was just a coincidence that he met here, but he didn't expect that he was waiting for him specially. I'm done with the Grand Line thing, and I'm going to deal with that guy, and I'm going to deal with him. After finishing speaking, Moran added, He won't live long, not to mention just a Shichibukai, even CBEH, 4 emperors, if I want to get him, he won't live. Let's not talk about this, there will be opportunities in the future to move the medical equipment to the ship. Understood the captain. Looking at Moran who was walking ahead, Luo was not at peace. Shichibukai said to deal with it. Is this the confidence of Captain Moran? Thinking about Doflamingo in front of him before, he was a distant and unreachable existence. Unexpectedly, in front of this man, he looks so small. He knows how strong Doflamingo is, but he doesn't know how strong Moran is. He only heard that he can fight against 4 emperors at the same time. The two of them moved the medical books to the boat, but in fact they couldn't be said to move them. As Moran waved his hand, I kept rolling his eyes beside him. Luo Wuyu, who was following Moran, asked, So what did you ask me to do, Captain? Moran glanced at him and said, If you don't follow, who shall I pretend to be? After thinking about it, Luo thinks it makes sense, what the hell? Rolling his eyes, he went back to the room and went to study his medical books. He also knew what he should do. There were so many powerful people on board that he didn't need him to fight. Things will be fine. What? Suddenly the direction of the mountain exit was reversed, and there were bursts of screams. Shouldn't it be such a coincidence? Moran thought and flew directly over the head of Laboon, and landed on top of it. What a coincidence, Moran saw it, and the pirate flag, with the pattern of straw hats should be Luffy's group. On the Straw Hat Pirates ship, at this time Luffy and others were yelling and running around, and Nami was sitting on the deck directly. Luffy quietly came to the room where the cannon was placed. Boom. A cannon explosion sounded, and the pirate ship slowly stopped in front of Laboon. There were several people lying on the ship sweating profusely, panting and pale. Nami's face was pale, and he said with a feeling of being alive after a catastrophe, I almost died. Click. Moran landed on the pirate ship, looked at Nami and asked, Yo, do you need my help? Thanks. Nami took Moran's hand and stood up. His body froze suddenly. He slowly raised his head, looked at Moran and asked stammeringly, You. Who are you? Hearing Nami's voice, Luffy and others looked over. Single-celled Luffy asked me directly, Hey, who are you? Moran suddenly said with a serious face, Luffy, I am the person sent by your grandfather to arrest you. You can arrest you without a fight. Hearing this, Luffy's expression changed greatly and he asked in horror, Grandpa. Grandpa sent you here. Everyone else looked at Luffy inexplicably, and Nami asked, Luffy, who is your grandfather? My grandpa is a Marine, and he always wants to catch me to be a Marine. Hearing Luffy's words, Zoro asked solemnly, Is Luffy going to fight? Luffy didn't speak, but ran around on the deck, as if looking for something. After searching for a while, his grandpa's face recovered immediately, and he said aggressively, I won't be caught by you, I won't blow you away. Rubber pistol. Moran stood where he was, just tilted his head, and punched him around the head with his fist next to his ear. Luffy said angrily, Damn, it's wrong. He just wanted to retract his fist and punch him, but Moran would not give him a chance. He raised his hand and grabbed the extended rubber arm, and with a little force, Luffy was pulled in front of him. Boom. Moran's feet turned black quickly, and a kick sent him flying. Thump. Luffy was kicked into the sea, but Moran kept holding on to his arms, and his body was in the sea with his arms on the boat. Luffy. Thump. Sanji jumped directly to save Luffy. Luffy is a person with abilities and can't swim. If he doesn't save him, he will sink forever. Zoro saw that Luffy was blown away, and rushed up quickly. 3 swords demon slash. Moran covered Hawkeye with his sword and met Zoro with 3 knives. Ding. The sword finger just poked in the middle of the 3 knives, and they were all blocked. Zoro looked at Moran in disbelief. Moran saw him stunned and kicked him into the sea to take a bath with Luffy. Zoro. Seeing that the 3 powerful ones were all in the sea, Nami and Usopp on the boat huddled in the corner, trembling all over and looking at Moran in horror. Chapter 98. Bullying the Straw Hat Pirates. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 562. 141. 187. Moran looked at the 2 with an innocent expression and asked, I don't eat people, why are you looking at me like that? The 2 thought to themselves, You don't eat people, but you are so scary. Of course, they dare not say such words. Moran looked at the 2 of them, but wondered if he could abduct Nami, but after thinking about it, he decided to forget it. He had already snatched one, and it would be a little unreasonable to snatch another. The 3 of Luffy had returned to the boat from the sea, and they were all staring at Moran. Moran felt uncomfortable being stared at, and said speechlessly, What are you looking at? Have you never seen such a handsome guy? Sanji asked solemnly, You can't be Marine, who are you? Marines are all wearing uniforms, even general officers will wear Marine coats. Sanji is not like a few people on the ship who have never seen the February 27th in the world, it was just too short a time to react. Aha, Moran, who couldn't pretend anymore, rubbed his head and smiled awkwardly. I was discovered by you, I am indeed not Marine, but Marine really wants me to catch you. Nami said with a sad face. After all, they came to arrest us. Sanji lit a cigarette, took a puff and said slowly, I think I should know who he is. Luffy and others looked at Sanji and asked, Who is it? I didn't think about it just now, but now I finally think about it. I saw your news in the newspaper. You are 7 warlords of the sea, Alphad Moran, I'm right. He recognized it, but Sanji was not happy at all. He would rather meet Marine than face this man. Moran wanted to tease them, but he was recognized. Moran said with a blank face, Vince Moke Sanji, have you ever heard a saying that sometimes talking too much can kill you? There was a red light in Moran's eyes, and the conquerors pressed him directly. Sanji felt Moran's aura, like a mountain, crushing him out of breath. Boom. Trembling all over, cold sweat dripped down, and he sat down on the deck directly. Can I be immobilized just by my momentum? Are you kidding me? Sanji yelled madly inside, but it was of no avail. Seeing Sanji sitting on the deck, trembling and sweating, Luffy quickly asked, Sanji, what's the matter, are you alright? UB**************, D, what did you do to Sanji? Because Moran is controlling Hawkeye, he only presses against Sanji, and no one else can feel the oppressive feeling like a mountain. Rubber pistol. Luffy had one arm being held by Moran, so he hit him with the other. Pat. Moran grabbed the other arm again, and Moran kindly helped him tie a knot. Luffy saw that his arms were being grabbed, and he kicked again. In less than a minute, Luffy turned into a rice dumpling with knots on both hands and feet. Zoro wanted to come to help, but was stopped by Sanji, who stood up, and Moran had already taken hockey when he was playing with Luffy. Sanji explained. If he really wants to catch us, we probably won't even have the strength to fight back. If you have the ability to let go of me, you be *******D, I will blow you away. Luffy has been tied up like a rice dumpling by him, and he is still yelling for Moran to let him go. How innocent. Moran turned his head suspiciously and asked, aren't you here to help your captain? I took him away. I really took him away. Moran tried a few times, but several people on the boat ignored him, just looked at him and didn't speak. You guys are too boring. Give it back to you. Boom. Moran kicked the rice dumpling Luffy flying, hitting Sanji in the play. Boom. Both flew out, knocking the room through one. Zoro looked ugly when he saw the two being kicked away, but he didn't say anything. He couldn't beat them even if he rushed up, and he also knew that this guy had already shown mercy. Seeing Zoro's eyes, Moran joked, don't look at me like that, or you'll die. Although Moran thought this guy was cool in his previous life, if he didn't know what to do, he would hit him anyway. Sanji, let me go first, I must blow him away. Luffy was still yelling to shoot Moran away. Sanji was speechless for a while, turned around and scolded, shut up first, you can just stay here. I don't have any eyesight at all, and I'm a single-minded person in everything I do. Sooner or later, I'll be killed by this guy. Sanji sighed. Hey, how do you guys know my full name? Sanji came out from the room and asked. Moran smiled and said, guess what? Sanji said indifferently. You can talk about it or not, or let it go. Moran saw that Sanji was not on the road, so he wanted to provoke him and said, Vinsmoke Reiju is my fiancé, should you let my brother-in-law know? One by one black lines slowly climbed up Sanji's face, and quickly turned into a face of black lines and shouted, you be **********D, let me die. First meet. Sanji jumped 3 meters high and kicked down hard. Moran quickly disappeared with, shave, appearing behind him in an instant. Ah, where's the person? Sanji asked with a black face. Nami anxiously shouted. Sanji is behind you. Sanji just turned around, but only saw a pitch-black foot, and stepped on it fiercely. Bump. Sanji hit the deck and had a close contact with the deck, and spider webs began to spread on the deck. Moran continued to provoke. What's the matter with you, brother-in-law? It's fine if you don't call someone when you see your elders, why are you still fighting? You be *********D can't be my brother-in-law. You were originally a marine from naval headquarters, and later became a pirate. You haven't even been to North Blue. How could you be my brother-in-law? Sanji slowly regained his sanity 0.1 slowly, and immediately figured it out. Moran smiled awkwardly and said, you know me pretty well. Sanji said speechlessly, you guys are often published in newspapers, it's hard not to understand. Nami looked puzzled, why don't I know him? Sanji explained. You didn't go out of your way to learn about Dahaise's intelligence. It's normal not to know him. He's a very famous guy in Grand Line, but not in East Blue. Also because of my special status, the group will deliberately go to understand the intelligence on the sea. Sanji added inwardly. Seeing that the lies were exposed, Moran was not angry and said, I'm not your brother-in-law now, but it doesn't mean I won't be in the future. When I return to New World, I will go to North Blue to propose marriage. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 99. I wrote to pick up your sister, Uranus lousy comes, it's no use. Sanji was on fire all over his body, and his whole body was on fire. He jumped over with his head firmly, and stomped down fiercely with his familiar foot. First meat kick. Go to hell. You be *********D. Moran raised his hand and directly grabbed Sanji's feet, immobilizing him, and joked. Sanji, don't waste your efforts, I want to FK your sister, and Uranus lousy can't stop me when she comes. Thump. After speaking, he threw Sanji out of the boat and fell into the sea. Moran walked to the railing, looked at Sanji in the sea and said, you be *********D even beats your own elders, you are really uneducated. Nami, is he really Sanji's brother-in-law? Luffy looked at Nami and asked after Nami untied his hands and feet. Boom. Nami punched him without saying a word, and cursed. You idiot, do you believe such words? Zoro said speechlessly. Only a guy like you who is full of meat will believe it. Usopp asked with a sad face. Luffy, what should we do now? This guy is too scary. Luffy showed a smiling face and said indifferently. It's okay, don't worry, I don't feel his malice. Hearing this, Moran turned his head to look at him a little surprised. It's really a beast-like intuition. After thinking about it, Moran also understood that this guy was thrown into the forest by Garp to practice since he was a child, so it is normal to be able to cultivate this intuition. Moran said speechlessly. Luffy, you are really just like your big brother Ace, heartless. Luffy's eyes lit up and he exclaimed, do you know Ace? Moran began to fool around and said, of course I know, Ace is my apprentice, why don't you also worship me as a teacher? Luffy looked at Moran suspiciously and asked, really? Obviously don't believe it, he's just a little naive but not a fool. Nami punched him again and shouted loudly, of course it's false, he hasn't said anything true since he got on the boat. At this time, Sanji wanted to get on the boat from the sea, but Moran found him, and immediately came to him, kicked him into the sea again and said, Sanji, if you don't call me brother-in-law, you don't even want to come up. Sanji yelled angrily. You be asterisk 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 D, let me call you brother-in-law, don't even think about it. Moran said indifferently. Then you can continue to soak in the sea. At this moment, Zoro suddenly asked, hey, what the hell are you trying to do? This question stopped Moran. He didn't know what he wanted to do, it was just a hot-headed thing. How do you ask him to answer? Should he answer? I've been here for several days, and I'm rather bored, so I am entertaining you. It is estimated that this group of people will fight him desperately. Although he is not afraid, he feels very troublesome. Suddenly, Moran had a flash of inspiration and said, I heard Shanks say that Luffy, you guy, is very interesting, so I came to have a look. Luffy said adoringly, do you know Shanks? Where is he now? How is he now? As soon as Shanks Luffy turned into a chatterbox with an adoring look on his face, Barbara couldn't stop. Of course, he was not worshipping Moran but Shanks. Moran looked at Luffy speechlessly and said, you give me enough time, if you want to know, you can find it yourself, go and see it yourself, what's the point of asking me everything? Moran answered a few questions, and Luffy popped up a dozen more questions, but none of them answered many. Shanks is doing well now, just tell me. Moran looked at Luffy who was still chattering and asking questions, and he couldn't bear it anymore. Boom. Thump. Kicked Luffy directly into the sea with one kick, and instantly felt that the world was quiet. Luffy. Zoro plunged headlong into the sea to save Luffy, and Moran got goosebumps all over the ground watching, saying that Luffy is Zoro's favorite. It seems that netizens are right. Moran, stop playing, we should go. The tornado also flew over at some point, floating on a high place and said, fly over. Quote. Nami and Usopp, as if they have never seen the world, stuttering. Moran heard that Kaido, come right away. After speaking, he turned his head to look at the people on board, he wanted to scare them before leaving. I'm leaving, see you. Both Nami and Usopp looked at Moran happily, thinking that this horrible guy was going to leave at last, but they didn't wait for her to be happy for a second. Go to hell, Nami yelled unrequitedly. You be asterisk 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 D, can you finish speaking in one breath? Moran came to Nami in an instant. Nami exclaimed, sat down on the deck, stammered and asked, what do you want? Like a wild animal rushing over. Moran leaned forward and was only a finger away from Nami. Looking at Nami who had not yet grown up, but already had a beautiful embryo, Moran thought to himself, it's a pity that it's not my own. Originally I was just joking, but because your attitude is not very friendly, in order to prevent you from seeking revenge on me in the future, I decided to take precautions before it happens and get rid of you all. Hearing Moran's words, Nami trembled all over, froze on the spot and couldn't move his hands and feet. With a mournful face, he forced a smile and said, look at how friendly I am, so don't kill me, okay? Moran looked at Nami who was about to cry, and knew that it was almost done, and it would not be good to leave a psychological shadow if he was playing Nuo Wong as good, and then said, let me tell you something. Nami asked suspiciously, what's the matter, Kai? Ha 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 ha. Moran wanted to hold back his smile, but couldn't help it. Moran said with a smile, actually, I am teasing you. How about it, are you surprised or not? You be asterisk 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 D, I will fight with you. Nami turned into a tigress in an instant, and punched the hateful face that was close at hand, but it went directly through the middle of Moran's head, as if Moran had been shot in the head. Boom. Moran lay flat on the deck, with a fist-sized hole in the middle of his head. Nami was stunned, and kept muttering with a distraught mouth, it's over. I killed someone. Chapter 100. Pretending to be a ghost to scare Nami, set sail again. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 403. 101. 134. Because Moran didn't stop Luffy and the three of them climbed onto the boat again, and saw Nami trembling all over, sitting on the deck with a distraught look. Sanji asked worriedly, Nami, what's wrong with you? Look, is this guy dead? While talking, Luffy poked Moran with his hand. Nami said in a trembling voice, I just wanted to punch him, I didn't want to kill him, who knew his head would explode, what should I do? What else can I do? You blew my head off, I'm so ugly now that I won't be able to find a wife in the future, just be my wife and make it up to me. Moran, who had a hole in his head, sat up suddenly and said, Ghost. Ah, everyone on the boat looked at Moran in horror. Nami cried and said, I don't want to be your daughter-in-law. Then I'll keep pestering you until you agree to be positive. Moran purposely leaned in front of Nami and threatened. Don't come here, you go away, go away. Nami was crying and running around on the deck. Tornado was speechless for a while, she didn't expect Moran to like playing so much. Sanji looked at Moran with an ugly face and said, he can still move with such a big hole in his head, is this guy a human or a ghost? Zoro pulled out his knife and said with a pale face, don't care if he is a human or a ghost, if we don't deal with him, we will all become ghosts. 3 swords demon slash. Zoro crossed the knife with his left and right hands, rushed over quickly, and appeared behind Moran in an instant. 3 wounds were cut on Moran's chest, but not even a drop of blood flowed out, and the wounds were all flashing with blue electric current. Moran was cut but did not fall, but continued to follow Nami. He leaned in front of Nami and said, if you don't agree, Nami, I will never let you go. Nami kept backing away, and stammered in fright, don't come over, I'll answer. Aha, why is there no blood on your head? Luffy didn't know when he came up behind Moran and kept watching. Luffy not only looked at it, but also pointed to Moran's head and said, "Everyone, come and have a look, this guy is so funny, and he will emit electricity, look here." Snapped. Moran turned his head and slapped Luffy's hand off, lightning came out of his body, and Moran returned to normal after a while. Hey, what's the matter with you guy? Zoro was stunned, looking at Yuan Lan who was back to normal and asked. In his cognition, a hole in the head is basically dead, but Moran not only survived, but also returned to his original state, which scared him a bit, and felt that his worldview had collapsed. Long Wan said with contempt on his face, "Moran, you are so childish." Moran didn't say a word, but just glanced at her, and immediately covered PG like a tornado-conditioned reflex. It seems that he has been psychologically shadowed. Moran said with emotion in his heart. Nami looked at the pretending Moran with fire in his eyes, wishing he could rush up and take a bite. Moran originally wanted to pretend to be a ghost to scare her into making her agree to be his wife, but Nami almost agreed, but was exposed by Luffy, and Sao Lan looked at Luffy dangerously in a bit of bewilderment. Luffy, what's wrong? What's the matter? Luffy still didn't understand the situation, and asked with question marks all over his face. Crackling. Moran turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed towards Luffy. Before Luffy could react, he kicked up. Boom. Seeing that it flew a long way before falling into the sea with a plop, Moran finally felt comfortable, and flew into the sky without looking back. Tornado. Let's go. Luffy. Zoro on the boat finally reacted and jumped off the sea to search for people. Moran seemed to have thought of something, suddenly stopped in the air, turned his head to look at Sanji and said, "Sanji says hello to your sister on my behalf, I will propose marriage soon, tell her to wait for me." Sanji was so angry that his teeth were itching and he cursed. "Don't even think about it, you be asterisk 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 D, I won't let you marry my sister." Looking at Moran flying away, Usopp sat down on the deck and muttered, "The pirates in the Grand Line are all such horrible guys, right?" Sanji explained. "Of course not, he can be said to be the top pirate in the entire sea. There are only 7 pirates like him in the sea. The Hawkeye we met before is one of them. They are collectively called for 7 warlords of the sea. Asking for flowers. A pirate at the same level as Hawkeye. Looks like I have to work harder." Zoro, who just rescued Luffy, thought to himself. Hearing Sanji's explanation, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. If the Grand Line were all such strong men, then they could go home straight away. Fortunately, there were only 7 such strong men. Don't be too happy, we will encounter this kind of enemy sooner or later. Hawkeye is like this, and this time is also like this. We have no power to fight back. Before everyone was happy for a long time, Zoro poured a basin of cold water down again, and everyone's faces turned ugly in an instant. Oh. Moran thought about it for a while and didn't know where to go, because Clock Doll is no longer there Alabasta, and he doesn't know whether Luffy will go there, so the plot has been disrupted by him, and he has lost the ability to predict the future ability. Please subscribe. I know the captain. I want to be the man of One Piece. Usopp stammered, "Luffy, I see. Let's go back. After he gets there, maybe the Summit War will start." Everyone was infected by Luffy, and gradually regained their confidence. Luffy said confidently again, "Everyone believe in me, no matter if the enemy is a human or a god, I will knock them all into the air." It's the captain. After the pirate ship began to sail slowly, Robin came to Moran and asked, "Where are we going next, Captain?" Luffy said confidently, "Everyone, don't worry, I can definitely knock them all into the air. Go straight to the direction of Tsubayati Archipelago." Sanji stood up and said, "It's impossible to go back. I can't afford to lose that person. We just try to become stronger as soon as possible. Sooner or later we can catch up with them. After all, they are human beings, not gods. You little ones, set sail. The captain has already been prepared, and they are all waiting for you." Back on the boat, Moran asked, "Are you all ready?" Everyone rolled their eyes one after another, with disbelief on their faces. "I don't know who just got beaten up again and again.